On the day of the blind date, I had a flash marriage with a trillionaire CEO. In order to get rid of the harassment from her uncle, Lin Ting got married to a bankrupt virgin. After the marriage, she found that her poor husband was not right. She ate 40,000 yuan watermelons as meals, made dumplings with 600,000 yuan lobsters, and wore 180 million yuan jade beads for fun. She was given free meals at a 5-star hotel, bought a Maybach when she bought a bottle of water at the store downstairs, and even got a chance to draw a sea view flat when she passed by the sales office. It turns out that her husband is not a bankrupt pauper at all, but the richest man in Jiangcheng with hundreds of billions of yuan, and he was also on the hot search because of his pampering of his wife. So the woman who is envied by thousands of people and pampered to the core by the richest man in Jiangcheng is herself. Chapter 1 Flash Marriage. On the day of the blind date, Lin Ting got the marriage certificate with the man she just met. 3 nights ago. Lin Ting's door was pushed open, and a pair of big hands reached in from her waist and stroked all their way up. Lin Ting woke up instantly, hurriedly pushed the man in front of her away, raised her hand to turn on the bedside lamp, and the man's greasy and wretched face was clear in front of her. "Cao Jiangcheng, what do you want to do?" Lin Ting was scared and sweated all over. She looked at him with horror, and the man hurriedly covered her mouth. "Just obey me, anyway, you will be slept with a man sooner or later." Cao Jiangcheng rushed over again after saying that, tearing Lin Ting's pajamas hard. Lin Ting is now a graceful and elegant lady with a curvy figure and white and tender skin that looks like it can be squeezed out of water. He has wanted to sleep with her for a long time. The greasy and fat body pressed on her. Lin Ting felt that her whole body was resisting and couldn't help feeling sick. "Cao Jiangcheng, aren't you afraid that I will tell my sister and brother-in-law about this?" Cao Jiangcheng was not afraid at all and laughed even more wildly. He was my sister's brother-in-law. He had been idle since he dropped out of high school. He lived in my sister and brother-in-law's house on the pretext of finding a job in Jiangcheng. Every time he looked at her, his eyes were obscene and he often made some physical contact, which made Lin Ting very disgusted. "What are you afraid of? Knowing that you are just right to marry me, my mother has said that she will marry you to me, just in time to save a sum of money for the bride price. You are dreaming." Lin Ting was so angry that she trembled, grabbed the table lamp on the bedside table, smashed it hard on Cao Jiangcheng's head, and took the opportunity to run out of the room. Although Cao Jiangcheng did not succeed this time, Lin Ting knew that he would definitely not give up in the future. Living under the same roof is always unsafe. She had to get out of the predicament. Lin Lang's situation in her husband's family was already difficult. Her mother-in-law always disliked her for marrying into the Cao family with Lin Ting, a burden. If she were to tell this, Lin Lang would be in a difficult position. In order to reassure her sister and to stop Cao Jiangcheng's evil intentions, she had to marry herself as soon as possible and move out of that house. How could she get married in a short time without even having an ambiguous partner? After looking through the address book, Lin Ting finally decided to agree to Aunt Jiang's request and marry her son who was over 30 years old but had never been in love. In front of the Civil Affairs Bureau, Lin Ting held the household registration book and looked at the man standing at the door with a bouquet of flowers, feeling a little unsure. Is this man with extraordinary demeanor and amazing appearance her marriage partner? She opened WeChat on her mobile phone. Height 189, black suit, red roses. All the key information matched, so there should be no mistake. She walked forward and asked tentatively, "Mr. Qi?" Qinyan, who was standing on the steps, looked down and nodded slightly. "You are late." The man had a cold face and seemed a little unhappy with Lin Ting's lateness. "I'm so sorry." Lin Ting was full of apologies. It was indeed not polite to be late for the first meeting. There was a traffic jam on the way here, so. She wanted to explain again, but the man got straight to the point. "Go in. My time is precious." The man looked at Lin Ting with a noble and distant look. The air pressure around him was very low, and his tone was cold. Every word was like ice chips hitting the ground. Lin Ting was a little frustrated. At this moment, she suddenly hesitated. Aunt Jiang was very kind. She always praised her son for being filial and sensible, and successful in his career. The only bad thing was that he was a bit stupid in love, which led to a difficult marriage. It seems that the reason why he couldn't get a girlfriend was that he was too straight. Qinyan walked a few steps and saw that Lin Ting behind him didn't catch up, so he stopped, frowned slightly, and a trace of impatience flashed in his eyes. He didn't actually want to get married, but because his mother kept urging him to get married, he agreed to get a marriage certificate with the woman she strongly recommended. It's not too late for you to regret now. Lin Ting shook his head. Marriage is a major event in life. I think we should make some things clear before getting the marriage certificate. I don't know if Aunt Jiang has told you about my situation. I work at Ronald Ceramics Enterprise as a designer. My career is currently in the development stage, so I don't plan to have children immediately after marriage. Even if I have children in the future, I don't want to be a full-time wife. Ronald Ceramics. Qinyan has some impression. This is a company he invested in not long ago. He nodded slightly and agreed to Lin Ting's request. Because he never thought about having children with the woman in front of him. This marriage is just to deal with his mother, a formality, and a mere name. I heard Aunt Jiang mention that you have several properties in Jiangcheng, and the location is very good. You are also in the real estate business and a small boss. Qinyan raised his eyes slightly when he heard Lin Ting mention real estate. My mother had always said that Lin Ting was very special, a woman who didn't care about the other person's money and status. Now it seemed that she was right as he expected, but she was also vain. Who knew that Lin Ting changed the subject? But those are your premarital properties, which have nothing to do with me, so I don't ask you to add my name to the property certificate, nor do I need the 3 gifts. If their house loan has not been repaid, I am willing to repay the loan with you, but after marriage I may need to move in with you. If you are worried, I can sign a premarital property agreement with you. Lin Ting handed over the agreement he had prepared in advance. Qinyan was a little surprised. He didn't expect that she not only didn't want his property, but was even willing to repay the loan with him. She was willing to have such an unsecured marriage. Qinyan was full of doubts. Don't you want anything from me? I'm not getting married to find a man to support me. I have the ability to support myself, but I don't want nothing. Then what do you want? Lin Ting pointed to the door of the Civil Affairs Bureau and said meaningfully, that marriage certificate. Lin Ting nodded heavily. A trace of surprise flashed in Qinyan's eyes. She looked good and had a good figure. She shouldn't be so eager to get married, right? However, since she was willing to sign the prenuptial property agreement, it meant that she didn't know his true identity in Jiangcheng, which did save him a lot of trouble. Otherwise, with the Qi Group's billions of industries in Jiangcheng, the division of property after divorce would also be a thorny issue. As for why she was in a hurry to get married, he was not interested in knowing, and he didn't need to know. After the two came out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, each holding a red book in his hand. Lin Ting was relieved and looked at the red book in his hand with a smile on his face, as if he couldn't let it go. I'm finally married. Her joy was beyond words. Qinyan finally believed that Lin Ting was really after a marriage certificate. He actually felt like he was being used as a tool. The ladies and noblewomen who surrounded him before were all very attentive. They were after his looks, his hundreds of billions of net worth, and his power and status. It was the first time that Qinyan saw someone like Lin Ting who was more interested in a piece of paper than him. Can I move in with you tonight? So impatient. Qinyan was slightly startled. He had just said that she was not interested in him, but she revealed her true nature. It seemed that she was also an ordinary woman who was after others. His admiration for Lin Ting was extinguished. The house is at 2204, Building 6, International Huaju, Jiangcheng Road, password 686099. Do you have a lot of luggage? If so, I can call Wolala for you. Not much, I can do it myself. Lin Ting looked at the red book in her hand, and the big stone in her heart finally fell. She had to tell Lin Lang about her marriage as soon as possible, and then move out of that house to stop Cao Juanqiang from thinking about her. How are you going back? Qinyan asked suddenly. Lin Ting was stunned for a few seconds and said, take the bus. Qinyan raised his hand to hail a taxi, took out a bill from his pocket and handed it to the driver. Take her to her destination. He turned to Lin Ting behind him and said, get in the car, I've paid the fare. No need. Qinyan had already turned and left before Lin Ting finished speaking. She looked at the man's back and her impression of him changed a little. He seemed to be quite gentlemanly and should be a pretty good marriage partner. In a place where Lin Ting couldn't see, Qinyan walked to a black Bugatti. The driver, Xiaomar, wearing a suit and white gloves, respectfully opened the car door for him. Master Qi. Qin Yan got into the car and handed the red marriage certificate in his hand to Jiang Zhaolin, who had been waiting for a long time. I have married this woman as you wished. Jiang Zhaolin took it with a smile, opened the marriage certificate, and stroked the marriage registration photo of the two with joy, sighing constantly. Look how well you two match. Mom, she is just an ordinary woman who can't be more ordinary. I don't understand why you have to make me marry her. Just because she saved you 5 years ago, you want me to repay her for saving your life with my body. Qin Yan expressed great dissatisfaction with this forced marriage. Not entirely, but you believe me, Lin Ting is kind and simple, and is absolutely different from those women around you who only know how to cling to the rich and powerful. Those women approach you just for the billions of assets of the Qi group, but Lin Ting will never leave you for money. Qin Yan's ears are almost calloused by Jiang Zhaolin's words. I have already received the certificate. Don't forget what you promised me. If I can prove that she is as vain as those ladies and nobles within a year, you will agree to my divorce from her and never ask about my marriage again. Jiang Zhaolin nodded slightly. Don't worry, when have I ever regretted what I promised you? Then he turned around and looked at Qin Yan meaningfully. What if you fall in love with her a year later? Qin Yan seemed to have heard something extremely absurd, and his eyes could hardly hide the sarcasm. Absolutely impossible. Then let's wait and see. Jiang Zhaolin was very sure. Qin Yan also made a big talk with full confidence. It won't take a year at all. In 3 days, I can prove that she is just like those noble ladies, just an ordinary woman who loves vanity. What do you want to do? Qin Yan looked confident. I know my limits. I promise to get the marriage certificate with her. I hope you won't interfere with the things after marriage. I will prove it to you in 3 days. What kind of woman is Lin Ting? Chapter 2 blocked right after getting the marriage certificate. Lin Ting took the marriage certificate home. In the living room, Lin Lang was wearing loose and baggy home clothes. While holding Erbao to feed her, she freed her hands to clean up the leftovers on the table. Her hair was randomly clipped with a clip, and she looked very unkempt. Lin Ting hurriedly took the rag from Lin Lang's hand and helped her sit down on the chair. Sister, you are still in confinement. You will get confinement disease if you work so hard. Where is your mother-in-law? Didn't she say she would come to take care of you during confinement? Lin Lang sighed and looked at Li Ping's room helplessly. My mother-in-law said she felt dizzy after breakfast, so I asked her to lie down in the room. Lin Ting followed Lin Lang's line of sight. Li Ping was lying on the bed, browsing her phone, leisurely and comfortable, and she didn't look uncomfortable at all. Is she really dizzy? I don't know if she is taking care of you during the confinement period, or you are taking care of her. Lin Lang gently patted the second baby in her arms. She really didn't have the energy to care about these things. Last night, the second baby made a fuss and she almost didn't sleep all night. Forget it, she is an elder after all. By the way, why did you come back suddenly? Lin Ting took out the marriage certificate from her bag and handed it to Lin Lang. Sister, I'm married. Lin Lang was surprised. I clearly remember that Lin Ting never had a boyfriend, so why did she get married suddenly? Marriage? How is it possible? Don't bluff me. Lin Ting opened the marriage certificate with a serious face and handed it to Lin Lang again. It's true. His name is Qin Yan, he is 30 years old, has a car and a house, and is also a small boss. I came back to pack my luggage and move in with him. Lin Lang saw the photo and name on the marriage certificate clearly. Only then did she gradually believe it, but she still found it difficult to accept the news. How come you didn't discuss such a big thing as marriage with your sister? How long have you known him? Why didn't you bring him home for your sister to see? Although I haven't known him for a long time, he is very attentive to me, very considerate, and very caring. I will find time to bring him to see you. I'll go to the room to pack my luggage first. Lin Ting didn't have much stuff, and a suitcase was full. When she came out again, Lin Lang was sitting in the living room crying secretly. She knew that Lin Lang couldn't bear to leave her. When she was 5 years old, her mother died of complications during childbirth of her younger brother. Her father despised them because they were girls and left them in their hometown to fend for themselves. It was Lin Lang who raised her. She had excellent grades, but she only graduated from junior high school and dropped out to work, but she supported Lin Ting to finish college and gave Lin Ting the best. Lin Lang didn't have her natal family to rely on, and she was a burden to her sister, so she didn't ask for a gift or a dowry when she got married. Li Ping always said she was worthless because of this. After Lin Lang became pregnant, her brother-in-law Cao Zhiliang asked her to quit her job, saying that he would support her in the future. After finally waiting until her first child went to kindergarten, she was urged by her mother-in-law Li Ping to give birth to her second child. The reason why Lin Ting has been living with her sister and brother-in-law is that she is afraid that Lin Lang will be bullied, but now Cao Jiangcheng has evil intentions towards her, and she really can't stay in this family anymore. Lin Lang has suffered enough for more than 20 years before marriage to support her, and she can't drag her down anymore. If Lin Lang knew that Cao Jiangcheng, that bastard, almost violated her, she would definitely quarrel with Cao Zhiliang for her, and even call the police to arrest Cao Jiangcheng. At that time, Li Ping would definitely be more dissatisfied with her. If she finally got to the point of divorce because of her, she would really become a sinner. Thinking of this, Lin Ting could only leave cruelly. "Sister, I'm leaving." Lin Lang wiped away her tears and nodded, following Lin Ting to the door. "Bring your brother-in-law back for a quick meal tomorrow night." "Okay." Lin Ting pressed the elevator button while holding back tears. "Sister, you don't have to send me off." Ju finally fell asleep. "Don't wake him up later. Then let Jiangcheng send you off. He happens to be at home." "No." Before Lin Ting could refuse, Lin Lang called Cao Jiangcheng. "Ting is moving out. Brother-in-law, go and send her off." Cao Jiangcheng was surprised. He saw that there was nothing strange on Lin Lang's face. He thought that Lin Ting had not told her what he had done to her that night. He continued to pretend to be a good person. "You are living well, why do you want to move out? It's not like there is no room at home. And how unsafe is it for a girl like her to live outside? It would be the most unsafe to continue living there." Lin Ting couldn't help rolling her eyes. She felt very uncomfortable with Cao Jiangcheng's hypocrisy. Ting is married, so she has to live with her husband. Cao Jiangcheng's wishful thinking failed, and he couldn't hold back the disappointment on his face. He knew why Lin Ting suddenly got married and moved out. Feeling guilty, he didn't ask any more questions and walked to Lin Ting to take the luggage from her. "Let's go." The two entered the elevator under Lin Lang's eyes. As soon as the elevator door closed, Lin Ting snatched the luggage and kept the farthest distance from him as possible. She didn't have a good face for Cao Jiangcheng anymore. "Lin Ting, even if you get married, I will always keep a place for you in my heart. If he can't satisfy you, you can come to me at any time. I am willing to do it for you." Shameless. Cao Jiangcheng's eyes fell on Lin Ting's thigh without any concealment, and his hand fell on Lin Ting's waist restlessly. "What are you doing?" Lin Ting hurriedly dodged, looking at the obscene man in front of him with anger. Cao Jiangcheng did not restrain himself, but his attitude became more arrogant. "This waist is thin and elastic even though she has never given birth to a child. It is not like your sister, who is a yellow-faced woman. Her figure has changed after giving birth. She is supported by my brother every day, and she does not have to go to work. She does not know how to clean herself up. I am afraid that my brother will not be interested in her when he sees the fat on her belly now." Lin Ting was so angry that her chest hurt. She felt disgusted by men like him who looked down on full-time mothers. "What does my sister's figure change after giving birth have to do with you? What qualifications do you have to despise her? But a scum like you who is idle and looks down on full-time mothers will never have a woman willing to give birth to a child for you in your life. You can wait for your offspring to end." In response to Lin Ting's scolding, Cao Jiangcheng did not have the slightest shame on his face, but became more arrogant. "No offspring. When the time comes, let my mother tell Lin Lang that even if you get married, you have to come back and give me a son. You." Lin Ting felt that it would be a waste of life to say one more word to such a beast. The moment the elevator door opened, she kicked him hard in the crotch and warned him sternly. "Let me give you a child, Cao Jiangcheng, you are dreaming." Cao Jiangcheng covered his vitals in embarrassment, gritting his teeth in pain. "Lin Ting, we'll see." Lin Ting went to the international flower city according to the address given by Qin Yan. The greening rate of the community is very high and it looks very high-end. In this area of Jiangcheng, this quality, at least more than 100,000 per square meter. She dragged her luggage to 2204, Building 6, but there was a seal on the door. She confirmed again and again that she did not go to the wrong building. But why was it sealed? She found the contact information Jiangcheng gave her and called Qin Yan. The phone rang for just a few seconds before it was hung up. Hang up. She called several more times in a row, and after several hang-ups, the other party actually blocked her? Chapter 3. Did she marry a poor husband? Lin Ting felt a buzzing in her head, and she immediately had a bad feeling. She lost contact just after getting the marriage certificate, and the house was sealed. Was she deceived into marriage? Lin Ting waited at the door until dark, and Qin Yan hurried over. Lin Ting waited for a long time, and was a little impatient. Why didn't you answer my call, and blocked me? And why is your house sealed? Qin Yan apologized. I went bankrupt, my partner ran away with the money, all the real estate and funds under my name were seized by the bank, and my phone was bombarded with calls from debt collectors all afternoon, so I simply blocked every call. So sudden. For this reason, Lin Ting felt a little absurd, always feeling cheated, and his words were full of doubts. We just got the marriage certificate in the morning, and the company partner ran away with the money in the afternoon. Qin Yan nodded helplessly, looking depressed and decadent. I know that anyone would feel cheated. I'm sorry for the sudden bankruptcy. If you mind, I can go to the Civil Affairs Bureau with you tomorrow to get a divorce. What? She just got married today, and her husband wants to divorce her tomorrow. This is quite outrageous in the entire divorce industry. Moreover, the purpose of her marriage is for Lin Lang. Does she want to divorce and go through so much trouble to find another man to marry? Isn't this nonsense? Besides, marriage is about two people who are not related by blood supporting each other. Now that he is in trouble, if she abandons him at this time, wouldn't it be very immoral? After thinking for a while, Lin Ting made up her mind. I know all about your situation. Let's go. She dragged her suitcase into the elevator, and Qin Yan followed behind her. In the elevator, Lin Ting didn't say another word. She kept her head down and poked the screen of her mobile phone. I don't know who she was sending messages to. It is said that husband and wife are birds of the same forest, but they fly away when disaster strikes. Qin Yan was certain that Lin Ting would part ways with him without hesitation after seeing this elevator. Just as he was secretly happy about his upcoming plan, the elevator door opened. Lin Ting grabbed his arm, walked out, and said gently, "Come with me, I found a place to live." Qin Yan was surprised. This was completely different from the story he planned. Do you mind if I go bankrupt? I am penniless and in debt now. Not only can I not give you any security, but I will even drag you down. Qin Yan explained the current situation and consequences to Lin Ting again, trying to make her change her decision. Husbands and wives should share hardships. Since I married you, I will not abandon you when you are in trouble. Before bankruptcy, you did not ask me to have anything. After bankruptcy, I should not despise being penniless and homeless. Lin Ting's speech made Qin Yan look at him with new eyes. He has been in the business world for many years, invested in countless industries, and met too many businessmen who put profit and return rate first, and he himself is also a person who never makes a loss. It was the first time he met a woman who didn't care about gains and losses and interests. Lin Ting took Qin Yan to Harmonious Home by taxi. After getting off the car, they walked straight to the gate of the community. Qin Yan looked at the resettlement house that was so old that even the street lights flickered, frowned, and looked disgusted. Are we staying here tonight? He was a little unsure. It was not an exaggeration to say that a house of this level was a dangerous building. It was good enough that it didn't need to be surrounded by a cordon. How could it still be lived in? To be precise, we will live here in the future. The rent in Jiangcheng is ridiculously high, and I am just an ordinary office worker. I don't have much money and can only afford to rent a house of this level. Qin Yan followed Lin Ting reluctantly into the community. The old community without people and cars was full of electric vehicles on both sides of the road. The garbage in the trash cans was full and everywhere. The uncles and aunts with their grandchildren chatted in a loud voice. The sanitation here is too bad. Qin Yan stopped and couldn't help covering his nose. Everything here made him feel uncomfortable. You know, he lived in a villa manor before. The community that Lin Ting went to today was already the worst one in his real estate. The environment here is too bad. How about staying in a hotel tonight? Qin Yan really couldn't stand it. Stay in a hotel? You are penniless now, and most of my money has been paid for rent. I know this community is far from where you lived before, so you just make do with it. When you make money in the future, we will move to a better house. Okay. Qin Yan's suggestion was ruthlessly rejected, and he had to follow Lin Ting to live in this resettlement house. In the old corridor without an elevator, there were advertisements everywhere. He looked around this tiny rental house, which was not even as big as the bathroom in his manor. He didn't expect that it could actually fit a bedroom, a kitchen, a toilet, and a small living room. Just one room. He and she met for the first time today. Although they had obtained the marriage certificate, he refused to sleep in the same bed. There is an attic upstairs, but the height is a bit low, and it will be hotter because it is on the top floor. Qin Yan followed Lin Ting's line of sight and looked upstairs. The total height seems to be only 4.9 meters, and it can be used as a re-examination. You are taller, so you can live downstairs. Although we have obtained the marriage certificate and become a legal couple, we have only known each other for one day, so let's sleep separately for the time being. Okay. Lin Ting's suggestion was exactly what Qin Yan thought, so he agreed without hesitation. It's late today, let's rest first. Lin Ting carried his luggage upstairs. Qin Yan pushed open the door, and there was only a bed and a wardrobe inside, which was as simple as it could be. He didn't expect that one day he, the president of Qi Group with a net worth of hundreds of billions, would live in a resettlement house. He thought he understood human nature better than anyone else. He thought that this bankruptcy character would scare her away and end this forced marriage early, but he never thought that he would fall into trouble with Lin Ting. It seems that he has to think of other ways to move out of this resettlement house as soon as possible. Knock, knock. There was a knock on the door. Qin Yan opened the door and Lin Ting handed him a plastic bag. These are the clothes and toiletries I just bought for you when I went downstairs. Thank you. You don't have to be so polite between husband and wife. Qin Yan looked at the complete daily necessities in the bag and felt a little touched and guilty. He was just thinking about how to quickly end this marriage with her, but she ran downstairs to buy him daily necessities, and was so careful that she even bought underwear and razors. He suddenly felt that his temptation and test were a bit excessive. How much money do you owe outside now? Lin Ting asked suddenly. Qin Yan was slightly startled, not quite understanding what she meant. What? Lin Ting explained, I know you just went bankrupt, and it may not be appropriate to ask you this now, but we have already obtained the marriage certificate. I think there should be no concealment between husband and wife, so it is better to ask clearly. It should be 300,000 yuan. 300,000 yuan. Lin Ting's eyes widened. Although she was ready to share the debt with Qin Yan the moment she decided to take him back to the rental house, she still felt a little unsteady when she heard that the debt was 300,000 yuan. She now earns more than 10,000 yuan a month. 300,000 yuan. If she doesn't eat or drink from now on, she can earn almost that much in 3 years of hard work. It seems that she will have to live a more frugal life in the future. I know that 300,000 is not a small amount. It is not fair to ask you to pay off the debt with me for no reason. So if you want to divorce me, I have no objection. I don't mean to divorce you. I'm just wondering how long it will take us to pay off the 300,000. Is it possible to get back your partner who ran away with the money? Qin Yan shook his head slightly. He ran abroad. It's hard to get him back. Is that so? But don't be discouraged. We will work together in the future and we will definitely pay off the 300,000 sooner. Qin Yan looked at Lin Ting, who was full of energy, and was absent-minded for a moment. In one day, because of his lies, the girl in front of him moved into the resettlement house and was in debt. Her life became a mess, but she did not blame him, and even encouraged him optimistically. She seemed really different from the socialites he knew before. Qin Yan didn't know that he, who was originally full of vigilance and suspicion, had a hint of appreciation when he looked at Lin Ting again, and it took Lin Ting only one day to change his eyes. Lin Ting looked at the absent-minded Qin Yan and hesitated for a few times. I want to ask you for something. You say. Because of his changed impression of Lin Ting, Qin Yan's attitude improved a lot. My sister wants to have dinner with you tomorrow night and meet you, her brother-in-law. Is it convenient for you? He just won the bidding for Jiangcheng A plot with 5 billion today. There will be an important signing ceremony tomorrow night. The time is indeed not convenient, but when he saw Lin Ting's expectant eyes, he couldn't say no. Convenient. Well, you are tired all day today, take a hot bath and have a good sleep. Qin Yan looked at the smile on Lin Ting's face, and felt a little happy in his heart. He was not annoyed by the delay in signing the contract. He returned to the room and called Jiangcheng. The signing ceremony tomorrow night will be postponed to the day after tomorrow. Do you know what you are saying? We are signing a contract with a central enterprise this time. They are all well-known figures in the political circle. How can I notify them one by one if you suddenly want to change the time? I believe you can handle it. Qinyan hung up the phone without waiting for Jiangcheng to reply, leaving Jiangcheng on the other end of the phone with a headache. He quickly called every big leader to apologize. The next night, when they arrived downstairs of the community where Lin Lang lived, Lin Ting handed the gift he had bought in advance to Qinyan. I know your company just went bankrupt and your bank card was frozen. You don't have much money, so I prepared some gifts for you. When you carry them, just say you bought them. Okay. Hide your bankruptcy from your sister for the time being. If she asks, can you just say you are not bankrupt? Last night, she didn't look down on his bankrupt status, but today she asked him to hide the fact of bankruptcy in front of his family. It seems that she is just an ordinary woman who is vain. He overestimated her yesterday. Lin Ting was afraid that Qinyan would think too much, so he explained, I don't look down on you for being bankrupt. I only have one sister who loves me very much. She is still in confinement. I am afraid that my sister will worry about me after knowing it. I understand. Lin Ting's conversation with Qinyan happened to be heard by Cao Jiangcheng, who came back. Yesterday, she was so arrogant that he thought Lin Ting had caught a rich husband. It turned out that she had married a bankrupt pauper. Later he would expose the fact that he was bankrupt to his face and embarrass him in front of everyone so that he could vent his anger from yesterday. Chapter for the bankrupt identity was almost exposed. When Lin Ting and Qinyan entered the house, Lin Lang was busy in the kitchen. When she heard the sound, she hurriedly put down the spatula and came out of the kitchen holding Erbao. Ting Ting and her brother-in-law are here. Sister, this is the Qinyan I told you about, and this is my sister. Lin Ting introduced. Qinyan handed over the gift in his hand and greeted politely, Sister, I'm really sorry to visit you now, this is a little gift that Lin Ting and I prepared for you. It's enough for you to come, why bring gifts, come in and sit down. Lin Ting and Qinyan were invited into their house, and a pungent smell of burnt came from the kitchen. Sister, why do I seem to smell something burnt? Lin Lang then remembered that she was frying fish in the pan. Oh no, my fish, help me hold Juju. Lin Lang handed Erbao in her arms to Lin Ting and ran to the kitchen. At this moment, black smoke was coming out of the pan. She quickly turned the fish over, and it was completely burnt. Sister, why are you cooking? You are still in confinement and cannot touch cold water. Where is your mother-in-law? My mother-in-law heard that you were going to bring your brother-in-law back for dinner, so she called my eldest sister-in-law and brother-in-law over, and asked me to buy a bunch of dishes that my eldest sister-in-law likes to eat, saying that my cooking is good and asked me to cook for my eldest sister-in-law. She just went downstairs to pick up my eldest sister-in-law. How can she let you, who is still in confinement, cook? Doesn't your brother-in-law care? Lin Ting felt very unfair for Lin Lang. She is the one who gave birth to children for their cow family, and she treated her like this? Your brother-in-law is not back from a business trip yet. At this time, Li Ping came back with Cao Li Jun's hand, talking and laughing. As soon as she entered the door, she started to order Lin Lang. Is the meal not ready yet? Hurry up and pour some water. It's such a bad weather in Jiangcheng. Going out will make you sweat. Lin heard that her sister was ordered around by Li Ping like a nanny, and she was instantly furious. Can't you pour water yourself if you want to drink it? Li Ping looked as if it was a matter of course. I'm her mother-in-law, what's wrong with asking her to pour me a glass of water? How dare you say you're her mother-in-law? My sister hasn't even finished her confinement, and you asked her to wash vegetables and cook to entertain your daughter and son-in-law. How can you be a mother-in-law like you? Qinyan stood aside, his eyes fixed on Lin Ting. Yesterday, she was gentle and quiet, and even looked like she had no edges and corners and was easy to bully. But today, she was like a hedgehog covered with thorns, using her erect thorns to protect her family. How dare you talk to my mother, you damn girl? Cao Li Jun rushed out, raised her hand to punish Lin Ting. Qinyan hurriedly stepped forward, protected Lin Ting behind him, and there was some warning in his words. What do you want to do? Cao Li Jun was instantly shocked, and the raised hand froze in the air for a long time without letting go. Her heart skipped a beat, not because of shock, but because of the appearance of the man in front of her. She had never seen such a noble and extraordinary man in real life. I didn't want to do anything. You have such a bad temper. Are you going wild in our cow family? Cao Jiangcheng pushed the door open and interrupted the war that was about to break out. This is my sister's brother-in-law. Lin Ting whispered in Qin Yan's ear. Out of courtesy, Qin Yan nodded slightly and greeted Cao Jiangcheng. I heard from Lin that Qin Yan is a big boss and should not be used to our simple meals. I know a restaurant that tastes good. Why don't we go out to eat, so that my sister-in-law doesn't have to cook? Lin Lang came out of the kitchen and tried to smooth things over. It's okay to go out for dinner. I'll treat you. Aren't you the big boss? Do you still need us to treat you? Cao Jiangcheng had a weird look on his face, and his words were full of thorns. It was obvious that he was setting a trap for Qin Yan to fall into. Qin Yan, who had been in the business world for many years and was the best at seeing through people's hearts, how could he not see it? However, he wanted to see what tricks Cao Jiangcheng was trying to play, so he just went along with what he said. This is my first time meeting Lin Ting's family, so I should treat you. Cao Jiangcheng knew that Qin Yan was bankrupt, so he deliberately found a 5-star hotel to take the opportunity to rip him off. When it came time to pay the bill, Qin Yan, a poor man, would definitely not be able to pay, and he would expose his bankruptcy. Cao Jiangcheng was calculating in his mind. When he thought of his embarrassing look later, he felt very relieved. On their way to the restaurant, Qin Yan frowned and said nothing. He had always been against such meaningless socializing and dinner parties. You know, he earns tens of millions or even hundreds of millions every minute, and it's really not worth wasting time on this group of people. Lin Ting thought he was worried about not having enough money to pay the bill, so he comforted him, "Don't worry, I'll transfer the money to you later." However, when they arrived at the restaurant, it was Lin Ting's turn to frown. She held her pocket tightly. It would cost tens of thousands of yuan to eat a meal here. Lin Lang pulled Cao Jiangcheng's arm. It's too expensive here, let's go somewhere else. Qin Yan is a big boss, and this little meal money is nothing to him, right? Cao Jiangcheng deliberately raised his voice, looking at Qin Yan with a look of ridicule and contempt. Lin Ting didn't like to brag, so he hurriedly said, "This restaurant is indeed not within our consumption level, let's go to another place. Let's eat here." Before Lin Ting finished speaking, Qin Yan agreed first, grabbed Lin Ting's hand and walked straight to the hotel lobby. Lin Ting was somewhat displeased with Qin Yan's pretentious behavior. She didn't expect that he, like Cao Jiangcheng, would not consider his actual situation in order to save face. "Hello, are you a member of Junyu Hotel?" The hotel staff stopped them. Lin Ting shook his head slightly. "Sorry, our hotel only entertains members." Lin Ting picked up his phone. "Then I'll register as a member. Do you follow the WeChat public account by scanning the QR code? You are such a country bumpkin. Look at your unsophisticated look. Do you think this is a country restaurant? You still scan the QR code to register as a member." Cao Lijun laughed loudly while holding her husband's arm. The hotel staff also came out to explain, "Sorry, miss, Junyu's consumption is a membership system. If you want to become a member of Junyu, you must be a user who has spent more than 1 million in Junyu's hotels." It was also the first time for Lin Ting to consume in a 5-star hotel. How could she understand what a membership system was, and there was also a minimum consumption limit? But the consumption here is not low, and she is worried about her wallet. "It's better if you can't eat." She breathed a sigh of relief and followed the waiter's words. "Then we have to change places to eat." Lin Ting pulled Qin Yan out of the hotel, but Cao Jiangcheng blocked her way. "Isn't he the big boss? How could he not be a member here? Did he go bankrupt?" Qin Yan really couldn't stand Cao Jiangcheng's dog-eyed look, so he took out his phone and asked Jiangqi to contact the hotel manager. "I'll tell the hotel manager." Cao Jiangcheng seemed to have heard something extremely ridiculous, and his face was full of ridicule. "You are really good at pretending. You know the hotel manager?" "I said I know Pauper. Why don't you just say that this hotel is opened by your family? You are really good at bragging. This hotel is really opened by his family. It's just the most inconspicuous one under cheese industry. The hotel manager doesn't even have the qualifications to see him." The hotel manager received a text message from Jiangqi, saying that the president of Qi Group was now in the lobby of Junyu Hotel. He was immediately in a state of panic, but he was told not to reveal the identity of the president, and he was afraid that the waiter would neglect the president, so he had to go to receive them in person. I will personally receive these guests. Okay, General Manager. The waiter withdrew respectfully. General Manager. Lin Ting was surprised and whispered to Qin Yan about his doubts. Just now, you were not allowed to enter. How come the general manager suddenly received you in person? Before Qin Yan could speak, Cao Lijun proudly took her husband's arm and showed off. The general manager must have recognized my husband. He has cooperated with Jun Yu before. You can eat here today because of my husband. In the private room, Cao Jiangcheng picked up the menu and deliberately chose the most expensive dishes. Waiter, first bring a king crab, Australian lobster, bluefin tuna, and a bottle of 1992 Screaming Eagle Cabernet Sauvignon dry red wine. That's it for now. If it's not enough, we can order more. Lin Ting opened the menu. Each dish ordered by Cao Jiangcheng is worth 1,000 yuan, and what kind of wine is that? It costs 28,000 yuan a bottle. Lin Ting looked at the luxurious dinner on the table, but couldn't eat a bite. She was worried when she thought that she would have no money to pay the bill later. But looking at Qin Yan on the side, he looked calm and composed, drinking red wine elegantly. His aura was very integrated with this 5-star hotel, as if he was eating in his own restaurant. Isn't it his own restaurant? It was the first time that Lin Lang met her brother-in-law Qin Yan. Out of concern for her sister, she looked at the silent Qin Yan. Brother-in-law, are you a native of Jiangcheng? Qin Yan, my hometown is Baima village in Shushan. Cao Jiangcheng immediately grasped the key point in Qin Yan's words and hurriedly mocked. So you came from a mountain nest, no wonder you have a rural atmosphere, then you have to eat more today. I'm afraid you have never seen what a king crab is in your mountain. Chapter 5 Slapping the Weird Relative. Qin Yan ignored Cao Jiangcheng's sarcasm. He did live in the mountains, but it was a private villa covering an area of 2,000 acres, with special servants and housekeepers. It was the largest manor in the entire Jiangcheng, and the cost alone exceeded 600 million yuan. But few people knew about it. That's why Cao Jiangcheng mistakenly thought that Baima village in the rich area was a rural village in the mountains. When Lin heard Qin Yan didn't say anything, she thought that Cao Jiangcheng hurt his self-esteem, so she stood up to defend him. What's wrong with coming from the countryside? Aren't you also from the countryside? Our place is going to be demolished soon, can it be the same? Cao Jiangcheng was scolded, and he was angry and attacked Qin Yan again. What company does Qin Yan run? Real estate. Real estate. All major real estate companies have been exposed recently. Your company is okay? It won't go bankrupt soon, right? When Lin heard the word bankruptcy, she became nervous instantly. She looked at Qin Yan, who was silent on the side, fearing that she would be exposed later. Lin Lang glared at Cao Jiangcheng and warned in a low voice, "Can you speak? I was just joking with Qin Yan, sister-in-law, don't take it seriously." Although Lin Lang was unhappy, Li Ping was extremely doting on this brother-in-law. Even if she was dissatisfied, she couldn't say anything too harsh in front of her mother-in-law. After eating and drinking, it was time to pay the bill. We've almost finished eating, Qin Yan can go and pay the bill. Lin Ting looked at the balance of her bank card and called the waiter. Pay the bill. When the waiter brought the bill, Lin Ting looked at the long list of numbers and felt her flesh aching. After paying the bill, she would really become a pauper. Cao Jiangcheng glanced at the beautiful numbers on the bill and smiled smugly. I'm sorry to have cost you money, but this little money should not be a big deal for Qin Yan, right? Qin Yan elegantly took up a handkerchief and wiped the corners of his mouth. He did not respond to Cao Jiangcheng's deliberate sarcasm. Do you need to pay for eating in your own hotel? Qin Yan had already arranged everything. So no matter how Cao Jiangcheng provoked and ridiculed him, he didn't care, just as if it was a clown. Lin Ting, who didn't know, was worried to death. She asked the waiter carefully. Can I pay with a credit card? No. The waiter smiled and refused. You're a big boss, but you don't have even 100,000 yuan in your card, right? You still need to use a credit card. Cao Jiangcheng seized the opportunity to mock Qin Yan again, waiting for him to make a fool of himself. Waiter, our boss said that the guests in this box are VIPs of our hotel, and this consumption is free. Free. No need to pay. Lin Ting couldn't believe his ears and confirmed with the waiter again. Yes. Lin Ting finally breathed a sigh of relief, and the stone that was pressing on his heart finally fell heavily. As soon as Cao Lijun heard the list, she immediately showed her superiority again. You all got a free bill today because of my husband's help. Li Ping, who was enjoying her meal over there, was instantly exposed when she heard that the bill was free, and she hurriedly called the waiter to add more dishes. 10 more bottles of that 28,000 yuan red wine, and 5 king crabs and Australian lobsters, each, and 1 portion of your signature dishes. Cao Jiangcheng was unhappy at this moment. He originally wanted to embarrass Qin Yan, but now his plan has been messed up. Let's go. Lin Ting took Lin Lang's hand and was about to walk out of the box. If it weren't for Li Jun's help this time, Qin Yan wouldn't be able to pay the bill, right? Lin Ting turned around and looked at Cao Jiangcheng defensively. What do you mean? Still pretending, I heard your conversation downstairs. This Qin Yan is not the boss of any company, he went bankrupt, even his bank card was frozen. Lin Lang was shocked, looking at Lin Ting beside him in disbelief. Is what Jiangcheng said true? Lin Ting nodded slightly. Qin Yan is indeed bankrupt. I didn't tell you because I was afraid you would worry. Cao Jiangcheng walked in front of Qin Yan, looked him up and down, his eyes full of contempt and disdain. I thought Lin Ting married someone who was nothing but a poor guy, dressed like a human being, but he didn't have a dime in his pocket. He pretended to be rich, isn't he ashamed? When Lin heard Qin Yan being humiliated, he immediately stood in front of him. Cao Jiangcheng, don't look down on me. My husband is bankrupt, so what? I believe in him. As long as he is motivated, he will definitely make a comeback. Qin Yan looked at Lin Ting, who was protecting him behind him. She was so petite, but she had so much energy when she had someone she wanted to protect. It was the first time for him to hide behind a woman. So this is what it feels like to be protected. Qin Yan, let's go. Lin Ting took Qin Yan's hand and walked out of the hotel in the eyes of everyone. Li Ping held the wine worth 280,000 yuan with a greedy look on her face, smiling from ear to ear. Cao Lijun took the opportunity to take credit for her husband Zhuzhua. Mom, my husband is still the most respectable. He made you proud. He gave you such an expensive wine for free. It's nothing like the man Lin Ting found. He's a poor guy. His good looks are useless. Yes, my son-in-law is still the most capable. Li Ping flattered Zhuzhua in a hurry. Zhuzhua straightened his back instantly, his fat beer belly became more prominent, and he walked like a nouveau riche. It's just a matter of a word. However, just as they were about to leave the box, they were stopped by the waiter. You haven't paid yet. Cao Lijun looked puzzled. Pay the bill? Didn't you just say that we are your boss's VIPs and that this consumption is free? Our boss said that the VIPs are the 2 who just left, and their consumption is free. As for the things you packed in your hands, you need to pay the original price, a total of 380,000. How do you pay? 380,000. Cao Lijun's eyes widened. She was just smug and proud, but now she was so embarrassed that she wanted to find a crack in the ground to crawl into. Everyone was shocked. Cao Jiangcheng was full of doubts. Didn't Qin Yan go bankrupt? How can he still have such a big face? The waiter just smiled and didn't answer Cao Jiangcheng's question. He took out the POS machine and asked Cao Lijun and Li Ping. How do I pay? The atmosphere became very awkward. Li Ping looked at the 10 bottles of red wine in her arms, like a hot potato, and she quickly put the red wine down. We don't want this wine. The wine can be refunded, but the king crab and Australian lobster you just ordered to be packed, as well as the signature dishes, have already been prepared by the kitchen and cannot be refunded. Excluding the red wine, you still need to pay 100,000 yuan. How do you pay? The waiter handed the POS machine to the 2 again. Li Ping is a rural woman who loves to get something for nothing. Asking her to spend 100,000 yuan on a meal is simply asking for her life. She hurriedly looked at Cao Lijun. Hasn't the son-in-law cooperated with Jun Yu? It's only 100,000 yuan. If he comes forward to talk, do we not have to pay? Didn't Qin Yan do the same just now? Husband, don't you know the lobby manager of Jun Yu? I even gave him cigarettes. Can you go and talk to him? Cao Lijun looked at the fat man beside him. He was full of guilt, and his arrogance just now disappeared instantly. The so-called cooperation was not negotiated at all. The other party thought his goods were too low quality and didn't like them at all. I'll go out and call him to tell him. He didn't have a phone. He didn't even pass the WeChat verification. The waiter was waiting with a POS machine. Cao Lijun and Li Ping looked at the packaged king crabs and felt regretful. 10 minutes later, he came back in disgrace. How is it? Zhu shook his head with an ugly look. Otherwise, let Lin Ting's husband come forward to say it. This 100,000 yuan is not a small amount. In order to avoid bleeding, Li Ping immediately smiled and pulled Lin Lang's arm with a very good attitude. You call that Qinyan and ask him to help talk. Lin Lang felt very ironic. Just now, this family looked down on Qinyan, and now they wanted to save 100,000 yuan, so they asked her to beg Qinyan again. If you ask Cao Jiangcheng to say it, he just said such harsh words. I am not so shameless to ask my brother-in-law to pay for your greed. Lin Lang held Erbao in his arms and walked out of the box holding Debao's hand. The waiter smiled and said goodbye, have a good time. Then he looked at Li Ping, Cao Lijun and others expressionlessly, please pay quickly, our hotel still needs to entertain other VIPs. Chapter 6 Being rejected again. Li Ping looked at the packed meals on the table, anxious like an ant on a hot pot, and then pointed the finger at Cao Jiangcheng. Why did you provoke Qinyan for no reason? What do you say we should do now? Cao Jiangcheng looked innocent. How do I know he is bankrupt and still has such a big ability? The waiter blocked the door with a POS machine. Several people looked at each other, each with ulterior motives. Cao Jiangcheng turned to look at Zhu. Brother-in-law, I don't have a proper job, where can I get 100,000 yuan? You are boss in Jiangcheng anyway, otherwise you bought this order? Just treat it as a filial piety to mom. Li Ping also immediately catered to Zhu and put him up. Yes, son-in-law, you won't be reluctant to spend this money for me, your mother-in-law, right? Zhu was put on the table and couldn't get down. He reluctantly took out his bank card and handed it to the waiter. With a click, a text message of deduction information came. As soon as he got in the car, Zhu angrily slapped Cao Lijun. You are poor relative, with nothing to show for yourself, especially your mother, who loves to take advantage of small things and caused me to lose 100,000 yuan in vain. All of it will be deducted from your living expenses. Lin Ting pulled Qinyan out of the hotel. She walked a long way before she stopped, but the anger in her chest could not be relieved for a long time. She knew that Cao Jiangcheng was just brooding over the fact that she kicked him in the vitals that day, and he was resentful. If it weren't for Lin Lang's face, she really wanted to rush up and slap Cao Jiangcheng twice. Let him look down on others. I'm really sorry. My bankruptcy has embarrassed you in front of your family. Lin Ting then remembered the person next to him and hurriedly explained, I don't think bankruptcy is shameful, but I did not think it through today. It was my fault to let you lie. That Cao Jiangcheng seems very dissatisfied with me. Qinyan is not a fool. Cao Jiangcheng targeted him everywhere today and pressured him in words and deeds. They just met for the first time and he did not offend him in any way. So this hostility could not be directed at him, but came from the identity of Lin Ting's husband. He had a hunch that there must be something between Lin Ting and Cao Jiangcheng. He is a rotten person. Lin Ting couldn't help complaining, but when the words came to her lips, she felt that it seemed inappropriate to tell Qinyan about Cao Jiangcheng's almost assaulting her. After all, it was not a glorious thing. Anyway, don't take his words to heart. Just treat him as a fart. Qinyan would not care about what such a clown said. He was just a little curious. Because Cao Jiangcheng looked at Lin Ting with eyes that seemed to be aiming at prey, with the lust of a man, he was very unhappy. It was wrong for me to ask you to pretend that you were not bankrupt, but I think it was not good for you to pretend to be rich today. Qinyan had a question mark on his face. He was the president of Qi Group and worth hundreds of billions. Do you need to pretend to be rich? I didn't. Qinyan was about to explain, but Lin Ting began to comfort him. I know you just went bankrupt and can't adapt to the poor life for a while, but we are now in debt of 300,000. A place like Junyu is not something that people like us can afford. I can. Qinyan wanted to explain again, but was interrupted again. I know that Cao Jiangcheng deliberately provoked you, but we can't make impulse purchases without considering our actual situation. If it weren't for Cao Lijun's husband's face today, we would have to pay tens of thousands. Qinyan looked helpless, but he didn't want to explain. He was a bankrupt character, and he was worried that the free meal would make Lin Ting suspicious. She thought it was someone else, so it was fine. I know. Lin heard that Qinyan's temper was not high, and was afraid that he had said too much. I don't mean to blame you. I know you also want to give me face in front of your family. No matter what, I want to thank you for your cooperation today. Lin Ting grabbed his wrist and was about to take the subway. Let's go home. Qinyan looked at Lin Ting's hand holding his arm. He didn't like others touching him, but he didn't mind the touch of this woman who had just met him for 2 days. Jiang Zhaolin's very firm words suddenly appeared in his mind. What if you fall in love with her after a year? He felt a chill on his back. How could he fall in love with this ordinary woman? Qinyan immediately pulled out the wrist that Lin Ting was holding, and forced himself to wake up and keep his distance. Lin Ting turned around, puzzled. What's wrong? I don't like others touching me. Lin Ting felt embarrassed. She was not a casual person, but she was a girl after all. It would be embarrassing to be touched by her husband in front of her. Sorry, I didn't pay attention. I won't do it again. The atmosphere between the two of them returned to the starting point in an instant. No one spoke along the way. In the subway station, Lin Ting took out his mobile phone and swiped the boarding code to enter the station. Qinyan also took out his mobile phone and put it away for a while, and then followed Lin Ting to go in. The gate beeped and an alarm sounded. He was stopped outside. The people queuing for the subway behind him all looked at Qinyan and whispered. You are so handsome, but you still evade the fare. Looks are not directly related to character. It was the first time that so many people looked at him with contempt. He wanted to explain, but he couldn't. Lin Ting turned around and looked at the man who was at a loss. His anger suddenly disappeared. She bought a subway ticket for Qinyan. In the car, Qinyan just wanted to explain his fare evasion, and Lin Ting asked in disbelief, You are so old, but you don't know how to take the subway. His cars are all worth tens of millions of Bugatti, Ferrari and Rolls-Royce. Even if he changes every day, he can drive a different car every month. Even the car that the nanny drives to buy groceries is a Bentley. Subway? He didn't need to take it at all, but he couldn't tell Lin Ting about this. Before the car was sold, I rarely took it. Lin Ting nodded slightly. He just went bankrupt, and his life fell directly from the sky to the ground. It was inevitable that he felt bad. It's okay. We will work hard together. You will definitely be able to make a comeback soon and buy back the car. What are your plans for the future? I have several interviews scheduled tomorrow. I will find a job first and pay off my debts. Qinyan is now very good at lying, and he has completely entered the bankruptcy persona. Lin Ting nodded slightly. It seems that he is recovering faster than she expected. Her worries seemed a bit redundant. I can now have a fixed income of more than 10,000 yuan per month. After deducting rent and living expenses, I can save 7,000 or 8,000 yuan. I will save a little more in the future and save about 9,000 yuan. With your future salary income, the 300,000 yuan will definitely be paid off soon. Qinyan was a little surprised. He thought Lin Ting just didn't mind that he was in debt, but he didn't expect that she actually put the money he owed into her future plans. Are you really willing to pay off the debt with me? After all, this is the money I owe. You went bankrupt the afternoon you got the certificate, so the money you owe should be considered a joint debt of our husband and wife, so I have the obligation to help pay it off. Although Lin Ting's words were without any emotion and warmth, and she even said that paying off the debt together was just fulfilling her obligations, Qinyan knew that her heart was warm. She said this just to make him not have a psychological burden. In just 2 days, in addition to being independent, he saw Lin Ting's kind and simple side. She seemed to be really different from the women he knew before. Strong and optimistic, warm and kind. The two walked side by side on their way back to their community. It was the same as last night. There were small vendors on both sides of the door, and the smell of various foods was mixed together. Lin Ting didn't eat anything at night, so he bought a multi-grain pancake at the door. Do you want to eat? Qinyan looked at the open potato shreds and kelp on the stall. Occasionally, a few flies flew by. The pancake owner was so hot that he rolled up his shirt to reveal his belly, and his collar was wet with sweat. The hygiene conditions were really bad. He frowned and shook his head, trying not to show his disgust too obviously. Lin Ting bought the pancakes and walked towards the rental house while eating. This behavior of eating while walking was difficult for Qin Yan, who had only sat in high-end restaurants, served by special people, and enjoyed the food quietly with violin performances for the past 30 years, to accept and understand. Can't we go back and eat later? Qin Yan couldn't help but say it. I'm so hungry. I didn't eat much at night because I was worried that you didn't have money to pay the bill. But fortunately, the hotel waived the bill, which saved us a lot of expenses, so you can pay off your debts earlier. It turned out that she didn't touch her chopsticks all night because she was worried about him. Qin Yan suddenly felt guilty. Because of his test, she was frightened, lived frugally, and even went hungry. At this moment, Qin Yan looked at Lin Ting again. She was still wolfing down her food like before. The way she ate was not elegant at all, but what she ate looked more delicious than $1,000 king crab. Qin Yan also felt that the pancake in her hand was not that bad. Chapter 7. My wife gives me money to spend. The next day, early in the morning, Qin Yan opened the door and saw Lin Ting sitting at the dining table eating breakfast. She greeted him with a smile, like the morning sunshine, very contagious. Are you up? I made breakfast, sit down and eat something. He looked at the frozen buns and fried dough sticks on the table, as well as the bottled milk, and frowned slightly. It was all carbon water, without even a bit of high-quality protein. You know, his usual breakfast must be nutritionally balanced, with fruits, vegetables and milk as the basics, and they must be seasonal fruits from the orchard and organic vegetables grown in his own manner. Is this all you have for breakfast? Qin Yan could hardly hide his disdain and incomprehension in his eyes. I got up late, just have a bite. Lin Ting couldn't help complaining in his heart. There was a ready-made meal when he got up, and he still complained that it wasn't rich enough. Lin Ting glanced at the time on his phone. It was too late, so he hurriedly picked up the milk and drank it all, stuffed the remaining half of the bun into his mouth, and then put on his bag and prepared to go out. I transferred some money to you via WeChat. You have an interview today. A grown man cannot go out without money. No need. Qin Yan looked at the 3,000 yuan transferred by Lin Ting. Before he could click the return button, Lin Ting stretched out his hand and quickly clicked to receive it. He didn't give Qin Yan a chance to refuse. If you feel embarrassed to accept this money, then consider it as a loan from you first. Return it to me when you find a job and get paid. Thank you. Thank you. Qin Yan's remaining word of thank you fell to the ground with the sound of the door closing. He looked at the transfer information on his phone. 3,000 yuan was just a negligible fraction in his bank card. He had never equated 1,000 yuan with money before, but today he felt for the first time that money in units of 1,000 yuan had a different meaning. Because this was the first time he had lived for 30 years. It was the first time a woman was worried that he had no money to spend and gave him money to spend. After get off work, Lin Ting called Lin Lang to explain Qin Yan's bankruptcy. The two sisters had just said a few words when Li Ping's urging voice and Erbao's crying came from the living room. Lin Lang, your daughter is crying again, it's giving me a headache. Mom, Juju may have peed, change her diaper. Li Ping was lying on the sofa and browsing her phone, turning a deaf ear to Juju's crying. Lin Lang called her several times, but she pretended not to hear it. She had to hang up the phone in a hurry. Ting, I won't talk to you for now. Juju is crying again. I know about Qin Yan's bankruptcy. Your brother-in-law still has some savings. If you need anything, you can tell me at any time. After hanging up the phone, Lin Lang hurriedly picked up Juju. Mom, I was just talking to Lin Ting on the phone. Can't you comfort Juju if she cries? Let the child cry. If you hold her when she cries, it will be difficult to take care of her in the future. Li Ping looked like she didn't care. Lin Lang had long been dissatisfied with her appearance. He said he was here to take care of her during her confinement, but he never cooked a proper meal for her. When Cao Zhiliang was here, she pretended to care about her a few words, but as soon as he went to work, she showed her true colors, waved her hand and made all kinds of difficulties. Lin Lang really couldn't stand it. Mom, go back to your hometown. I have to take care of you while you are here. When Li Ping heard that she was going to be driven away, she threw her mobile phone and got angry. You want to drive me away? Lin Lang was helpless. That's not what I meant. You don't help here. You just play with your mobile phone all day. When I ask you to do something, you say you feel dizzy. I still have to take care of you. Isn't it your duty to take care of me? My son married you and provided you with good food and drink. What's wrong with you being filial to him? Li Ping's words were all as it should be, coupled with a sarcastic face, as if she wanted to eat Lin Lang. But I'm still in confinement. Lin Lang wanted to reason with her, but she immediately put on an unreasonable look. Cao Zhiliang just came back from a business trip. As soon as he entered the door, Li Ping ran to complain, crying, "Son, you are finally back. If you don't come back, I will be bullied to death by your good wife. I came to take care of her during confinement, but she disliked my cooking and insisted on cooking. I helped her take care of the children, but she disliked this and that, and now she wants to drive me away." With her exaggeration, Lin Lang turned into a vicious daughter-in-law. "You want to drive mom away? What's going on?" Cao Zhiliang asked without knowing the truth. "I didn't." Lin Lang had no way to defend himself. Li Ping had already made the black out of the white. Cao Zhiliang was also an extremely filial person. No matter how she explained, it was hopeless. It was like this every time. No matter what the facts were, he would stand on his mother's side. She simply stopped talking. "Whatever you think, I have to go change Juju's diaper, and Leilei's dance class has to renew, and there is no living expenses for next month." Lin Lang turned and walked towards the bedroom. Cao Zhiliang had just arrived home when he started crying. It was already very bad, and Lin Lang asked for money. "Didn't I just give you 3,000 yuan for living expenses? It's all used up again. You don't know how difficult it is to make money now if you don't work, can't you save money?" Lin Lang felt ridiculous. Save money? She wanted to split $1 into two. In Jiangcheng, where the minimum wage is 6,000 or 7,000 yuan, the 3,000 yuan living expenses mentioned by Cao Zhiliang are already at the beginning of the month. If Lin Ting hadn't occasionally subsidized her and often bought vegetables after get off work, the 3,000 yuan would not be enough until now. In Cao Zhiliang's eyes, the 3,000 yuan was more durable than 30,000 yuan. Not only did she have to use this little money to feed the whole family, but she also had to pay for water, electricity, property, various daily necessities, as well as milk powder for the second child and tuition for the first child. In the refrigerator, the snacks she bought for the children for a week were shown off by her brother-in-law in one day. Li Ping also secretly took the native chicken and wild Crucian carp that Lin Ting bought for her to boost her milk production to give to her elder sister-in-law to replenish her body. She had told Cao Zhiliang about this many times. However, every time she got only perfunctory treatment. He would only be a filial son and maintain the superficial harmony of the family. When encountering problems, he would only say, "My mother has little education and has lived a hard life. It is not easy to raise us siblings. Don't bother with her. Besides, she gave it to my sister to eat, and she didn't give it to others." It was always the same result. She was tired. Instead of pinning her hopes on Cao Zhiliang and praying for him to be fair, it would be better to ignore him directly. If you don't have expectations, you won't be disappointed. In the living room, Li Ping was complaining again. "Look at the wife you married. She has a sour face every day, as if someone owes her money. She has been married for 6 years and has given birth to a lot of money-losing things. In ancient times, women who can't give birth to sons would be divorced." "Mom, please stop talking." Cao Zhiliang was annoyed. Liao heard Cao Zhiliang's voice and ran out of the room, hugged his legs and acted like a spoiled child. "Dad, you are finally back. Did you bring me a gift?" Dad can forget everything, but how could he forget Liao's gift? Cao Zhiliang squatted down and took out the doll from his bag. Li Ping's disdain was hard to hide, and she couldn't help complaining, "She is just a money-losing thing. She will get married when she grows up. Why are you so nice to her? Who do you say is a money-losing thing?" Lin Lang couldn't stand it anymore, so she rushed out to argue with Li Ping. She could make things difficult for her, but she would never allow Li Ping to hurt her daughter. If a girl is not a money loser, what is she? "Mother-in-law, you are also a woman. So you are also a money loser? My elder sister-in-law is also a money loser. Why did you strangle her to death when you gave birth to her?" Li Ping was speechless and angry. "Look at the good wife you married. I am her mother-in-law after all. How can you talk to your mother-in-law like this? She dares to say this to me in front of you now. When you are not around, I don't know how much she is too much. She wants to shit on my head." "Lin Lang, Mom is an elder. Even if she said something unpleasant, you can't talk to her like this. Apologize to mom quickly. Cao Zhiliang stood up again to uphold justice. Lin Lang looked at Cao Zhiliang in front of him with disappointment. This man who she had entered the gates of hell twice for him actually agreed with Li Ping's words and thought that girls were money loser. I am not wrong. Why should I apologize? Lin Lang glared at Cao Zhiliang fiercely, carried Lele into the room, and closed the door forcefully. Mom, what is a money loser? Liao Liao held the baby, her clear and bright eyes were full of innocence and ignorance. Why does Grandma always say that my sister and I are money losers? Lin Lang hugged Liao Liao into his arms with a distressed look. Don't listen to Grandma's nonsense, our Liao Liao is not a money loser, but the apple of Mom's eye. She finally understood that a full-time mother with no income would not be respected by her husband, and would be looked down upon and manipulated by her in-laws, and her children would also suffer. For the sake of her children, and to end the days of asking people for money with her palms up, she needs to find a job. Chapter 8. Come to my room to sleep at night. Lin Ting carried the vegetables she bought upstairs and sent a message to Qin Yan. How was the interview? What time will you be back tonight? I bought vegetables and prepared to cook. At this moment, Qin Yan, wearing a custom-made suit, signed a contract with a prominent figure in Jiangcheng's political circle on the A-plot project in a high-end office building. Mr. Qi, happy cooperation. The other party handed over the signed contract, and the two exchanged handshakes, happy cooperation. I wonder if Mr. Qi would be so kind as to have a simple meal with us tonight. He thought of the message Lin Ting had just sent, and hesitated. I'll have a simple meal with you tonight. Seeing that Qin Yan wanted to refuse, Jiangqui hurriedly reminded him in a low voice, Wang Shuwen is the director of the Jiangcheng Real Estate Management Bureau. If we want to get land in Jiangcheng in the future, we have to get his approval. This meal must be a favor. Qin Yan immediately changed his words, my honor. After leaving the conference room, Jiangqui was puzzled by Qin Yan's very abnormal behavior just now. Did you want to refuse Wang Shuwen's invitation just now? In business, politicians must not be offended. Even he, the vice president, knows this. Qin Yan, who has been in the business world for many years, will not be unaware of it. Do you have an appointment tonight? No. Then why did you hesitate just now? Qin Yan was asked impatiently. Did he have to say that it was his wife who had a flash marriage for 3 days who wanted him to go home for dinner, and he couldn't say the words of refusal? This is not like his style. He was also confused just now. Why did he put Lin Ting's matter first and even obeyed her subconsciously? He, who never cared about other people's feelings, felt guilty even for rejecting her. This is too abnormal. He tried to clear the distracting thoughts in his mind and rolled his eyes at Jiangqui. You have a lot of questions tonight. Then he took out his mobile phone and replied to Lin Ting's message. I found a job. I won't go home for dinner because the department welcomes new students in the evening. Lin Ting looked at Qin Yan's reply and couldn't help wondering, did he find a new job so quickly? It seems that he has adapted to his bankrupt status and cheered up again. Lin Ting was too hot to sleep in the attic at night. The air conditioner broke down inexplicably. Their whole room was like a furnace. She wanted to eat iced watermelon to cool down, but she was too lazy to go downstairs. After thinking about it, she sent a WeChat message to Qin Yan. He is her husband. It shouldn't be too much to ask him to help bring some fruit. Are you almost done? Can I buy a watermelon from the door when you come back? Qin Yan, who was still at the dinner, received the message and his eyes fell on the free fruit plate sent by the hotel on the table. The watermelon inside was untouched. He raised his hand to signal the waiter. I remember you have Densuk black-skinned watermelons from Hokkaido. Please cut and pack one for me. Okay, sir. The weather in Jiangcheng is very hot. Lin Ting should want to eat iced watermelon. Qin Yan hurriedly added, wait a minute, put ice cubes in the watermelon. Wang Shuwen naturally knew this watermelon. It is the most expensive watermelon in the world. The annual production is only 100. It has a special sweetness and is only grown in Hokkaido. A 17-pound black-skinned watermelon can be sold for $6,100. Because it is too expensive, his wife mentioned several times that she wanted to eat it, but he was reluctant to buy it. The waiter brought the packaged watermelon to Qin Yan. Sir, the watermelon you requested has been packed and is chilled with ice. Thank you. After the show, Qin Yan said goodbye to Wang Shuwen at the entrance of the hotel with the packed watermelon. He couldn't help but ask curiously, "Mr. Qi, I'm really curious, who can make you forget to pack watermelon even at the dinner?" "My wife." Qin Yan didn't hide anything and said it very naturally. Wang Shuwen was a little surprised. It was rumored that the president of Qi Group was not close to women and had never had a woman around him. He didn't expect that he was secretly married. "I didn't realize that Mr. Qi was a good man who loved his wife." Qin Yan just smiled perfunctorily at Wang Shuwen's compliment. In his eyes, he just brought a watermelon and couldn't say that he loved his wife. But since he and Lin Ting had obtained the marriage certificate, he would fulfill the responsibilities of a husband before the divorce. Qin Yan knocked on Lin Ting's door. "The watermelon you requested." When Lin Ting heard about the watermelon, he hurriedly got up from the yoga mat on the ground. "Thank you." She took the watermelon with joy in her eyes and opened it impatiently. The unique fragrance of watermelon instantly hit her nose, refreshing her hot heart instantly. "Or is it iced and cut?" Qin Yan looked at the girl in front of him wearing a suspender nightgown, with a messy bun on her forehead, and occasionally a few strands of hair stuck to her face with sweat. There is a kind of casual and messy beauty. "Didn't you turn on the air conditioner?" Qin Yan saw that Lin Ting was sweating profusely. Lin Ting said while eating watermelon, "The air conditioner in my room is broken. It's too late today. I can only find someone to fix it tomorrow." Qin Yan looked at the yoga mat in the room, with a pillow on it and slippers thrown aside. It seems that he was too anxious to eat watermelon and didn't even have time to wear slippers. "So you're going to sleep on the floor tonight?" "Well, the floor is cooler." "Qin Yan, which store did you buy this watermelon from?" "It's delicious, with a special sweetness that I haven't had in any watermelon before." "It's not cheap, is it?" "Densuk black-skinned watermelon is of course delicious. This is a watermelon worth more than 40,000 yuan." If he told Lin Ting the real price of the watermelon, I'm afraid she would be unable to eat it like she did that day at Junyu Hotel. "It's free." Lin Ting was full of surprise. How can such a delicious watermelon be free? "It's a fruit plate sent by the store for a company dinner. I saw that my colleagues didn't eat it, so I asked someone to pack it up." "Oh." Although others didn't eat it, Lin Ting was happier to eat it when he heard it was free. She couldn't help but sigh, "This free watermelon is delicious. Do you mind if I pack it from the table?" "What's there to mind? Didn't you just say that my colleagues didn't eat it? It's not dirty. Besides, many men think it's embarrassing to pack food when eating out. But you are willing to pack food for me, which shows that you know how to be frugal." He is a good family man who is suitable for living. When Lin heard this, she was so proud, as if her husband had done something great, and Qin Yan was touched by her easily satisfied mentality. Just a packaged watermelon can make her happy for so long. Lin Ting poked a piece of watermelon with a fork and handed it to Qin Yan. "You try it too." Qin Yan was slightly startled. Lin Ting had used this fork before. He was always a clean freak and never shared bowls and chopsticks with others. "You eat it." Qin Yan politely refused. "Take a bite, it's really delicious, the best watermelon I've ever eaten in my life." He looked at Lin Ting's clear and bright eyes without a trace of dirt, as if the piece of watermelon she handed over had also become clean and sterile. He opened his mouth slightly and held the watermelon. Lin Ting couldn't wait for Qin Yan's feedback. "How is it? Is it very delicious?" "Not bad." Qin Yan nodded slightly. "Let me tell you, I really want to know what kind of watermelon this store has. I wonder if I will have the chance to eat it again in the future. If you like it, I will bring it to you later." "Qin Yan, you are so nice." Lin heard that this was a compliment from her heart. As a husband living together, Qin Yan really seemed to have nothing to complain about. "Come to my room to sleep at night." Qin Yan suddenly said this out of the blue. Lin almost fell to the ground when she heard the watermelon beside her mouth. She just thought he was a good person. Was he exposing his true nature and going to be beastly with her? They had only known each other for 3 days, and he invited her to sleep with him. It was too fast. Chapter 9. Holding it in for too long will cause problems. Qin Yan saw that Lin Ting had misunderstood, and explained, "Don't get me wrong, isn't the air conditioner in your room broken? It's so hot, you can't sleep well without air conditioning, it would be bad if you get heat stroke." Lin Ting looked back at the attic, it was as hot as a furnace. She really didn't want to stay in there for a second, but she still felt a little uncomfortable sleeping in the same bed with a man she had only known for 3 days. "Don't worry, I won't touch you before we fall in love with each other. You sleep on the bed, and I can sleep on the floor. After all, you rent the house." Qin Yan's words completely dispelled Lin Ting's concerns, and she nodded slightly. "I'll sleep on the floor. How can a woman sleep on the floor? In order to maintain my self-esteem as a man, let me sleep on the floor." Lin Ting was no longer polite to Qin Yan. "Thank you." At night, when Qin Yan finished taking a bath and returned to the room, Lin Ting was already asleep on the bed. Because of turning over, her nightgown rolled up a little, revealing her long, white, tender and slender legs. Qin Yan's eyes fell on those legs, and the action of wiping his hair paused instantly. His heart suddenly choked. It was the first time he saw a woman's legs so closely. He forced himself to look away. But it fell on Lin Ting's white collarbone again. Although she was wearing a nightgown over the suspender nightgown, she could still see the faint presence of her chest. Qin Yan's Adam's apple rolled, and his lower abdomen tightened unconsciously. The desire that belongs to men is awakened instantly at this moment. Many indescribable pictures flashed through his mind. He clenched his fists and rushed to the bathroom again. After more than 20 minutes of cold water, the heat in his body subsided. He returned to the room and tried to keep his eyes elsewhere, but when he closed his eyes, his mind was full of Lin Ting's long, white, straight legs. He tossed and turned, took several cold showers but couldn't fall asleep. He kept reciting multiplication formulas until the sky turned pale, and then he fell asleep in a daze. When he opened his eyes again, Lin Ting had already prepared breakfast. "You're awake, go wash up and come out for breakfast." "Yeah." After washing up, Qin Yan pulled out a chair and sat down opposite Lin Ting. "Today's breakfast was tomato and egg noodles, which looked pretty good. Yesterday I saw that you didn't seem to like frozen food, so I made tomato and egg noodles today. How do you taste?" After hearing this, Lin Ting lowered her head and slurped a mouthful of noodles. Her eating manner was really not very elegant, but watching her eat, there was always a feeling that the food was delicious. He picked up the chopsticks and picked up a mouthful of noodles and put it in his mouth. The taste was not amazing, just ordinary tomato and egg noodles that couldn't be more ordinary. The only difference was that it had a homely taste, very warm. "You said yesterday that you found a new job. What is it?" "Real estate sales." Qin Yan had already thought of a new career for his bankrupt, so when Lin Ting asked him, he didn't hesitate at all and said it in a very professional way. "Sales is good, but it's hard. A bankrupt real estate developer working in real estate sales is also a professional match." Lin Ting had no doubt and nodded slightly. "You didn't seem to sleep well last night. I saw that you have heavy dark circles under your eyes. Are you not used to sleeping on the floor? Can you go to work today?" Qin Yan felt empty in his heart. Lin Ting's white and slender thighs appeared in his mind again, and he felt his ears burning. "Yes, a little, but it's okay to go to work. I have an appointment with a master to come to your home for repair today. The air conditioner should be repaired soon. You don't have to sleep on the floor tonight." Qin Yan nodded slightly. He subconsciously breathed a sigh of relief. Being in the same room with Lin Ting really tested his determination as a man. Although he has good self-control, he can't stand the temptation every day. "That's great, so we don't have to sleep in the same room. Does he dislike sharing a room with her so much?" Lin Ting remembered the last time she had dinner at Junyu Hotel. She just touched his arm, and he frowned and disliked. "She slept in his bed last night, he must mind it." Lin Ting got up and went upstairs to get a new 4-piece suit and handed it to Qin Yan. "This 4-piece suit is new, I washed it but haven't used it yet, please change it. I know you don't like others touching your things, I won't help you change it, thank you very much for last night." Qin Yan knew that Lin Ting had misunderstood, and hurriedly explained, "I don't mean to dislike you. I'm done eating, I'm going to the company first." Lin Ting didn't wait for Qin Yan to finish his explanation, he picked up his bag and went out. As soon as she arrived downstairs of the company, she saw her brother-in-law Cao Zhiliang's car parked in front of her. She was about to go up to say hello, but a vigorous girl with a neat high ponytail sat down in the passenger seat. She knew this girl, a new intern in the company named Jiangcheng Yu. Why did she get out of her brother-in-law's car? And she was sitting in the passenger seat. She had a bad feeling in her heart. After getting out of the car, the two walked side by side to the company, looking very familiar with each other. Brother-in-law. Lin Ting walked up quickly. Lin Ting. A trace of panic flashed in Cao Zhiliang's eyes, and then he subconsciously distanced himself from Jiang Mingyu. I met Xiao Jiang on their way to work, so I brought her to the company. Before Lin Ting asked the question in his heart, Cao Zhiliang explained it first. Lin Ting nodded slightly and looked at Jiang Mingyu beside him. Good morning, Sister Lin Ting. Thanks to Brother Cao for taking me along. Otherwise, I would be late. When Jiang Mingyu said this, her expression was very natural. She didn't look like she was lying. The two of them probably just happened to come together. She must have thought too much. Cao Zhiliang has always been honest and simple. He shouldn't do anything to let Lin Lang down. Well, let's go in quickly, otherwise we'll be late. In the Qi group, Jiang Kui handed the contract to Qi Nian to sign. Seeing that he had two dark circles under his eyes, he instantly felt like he saw something rare. What did you do last night? What? Qi Nian took the contract unhappily and looked down at the signature. I remember that the drinking party ended early last night. Why do you have such big dark circles this morning? Did you have activities with your flash-married little wife tonight? Jiang Kui's face was full of gossip. Qi Nian's mind once again recalled Lin Ting's long white legs, and his ears instantly burned red again. Seeing his reaction, Jiang Kui became even more excited. Sure enough, you are making rapid progress. Are you finally willing to have sex? If I have a chance, I must meet your little wife. How charming is she to make you, Qi Nian, break your vow? Qi Nian picked up the signed contract on the table and threw it at Jiang Kui, with a flash of anger in his eyes. What nonsense are you talking about? I didn't touch her. Compared to breaking the contract, this righteous sentence of not touching her made Jiang Kui even more excited. So you were holding it in all night and couldn't fall asleep. Qi Nian was exposed immediately, and his heart was empty, but because of the man's face, he couldn't say that he just saw Lin Ting's long legs and had wild thoughts. This was too inconsistent with his identity. He picked up the pen in anger and threw it at Jiang Kui. Have you been too idle recently? You're so gossipy. Have you come up with the competitive quality plan for the land in Jiangdong? If you can't get it, you won't be able to take a vacation for the next year. No, I'm leaving now. Jiang Kui picked up the signed contract and immediately walked out of the office in a dejected manner. As soon as he walked out, he poked his head in again. Don't blame me for not reminding you. If a man holds it in for too long, there will be problems in that area. Get lost. Qi Nian picked up the pen and threw it at Jiang Kui. Fortunately, he reacted quickly and quickly retracted his head. Chapter 10 Mother-in-law is here. The office was quiet in an instant. Qi Nian breathed a sigh of relief, picked up the pen and signed the contract that needed to be signed, but when he put the pen down, his name was signed as Lin Ting. He tore off the page in a panic, crumpled it into a ball and threw it into the trash can. Obviously, she was just an ordinary woman who couldn't be more ordinary. Why could she make him so uneasy? Even affect his work? This morning, she looked unhappy when she left the house. Was she angry? Should he send a message to explain? Qi Nian took out his phone, clicked on Lin Ting's chat box, typed a few words, and deleted it. Why should he care whether she was angry or not? It's crazy. Qi Nian quickly closed his phone, took a deep breath, tried to clear his mind, and devoted himself to work. After get off work in the evening, Lin Ting bought some fruits and nutritional supplements, and prepared to visit Lin Lang on the way. Last time at Junyu Hotel, she and Cao Juanqian had such an unpleasant quarrel, and she didn't know whether Li Ping would vent her anger. Lin Ting was really a little worried. The square downstairs in the community. Lin Ting saw Lin Lang holding Lulu from a distance, holding a glowing veil in his hand, and selling it to everyone. She hurried over. Sister, what are you doing? Ting, why didn't you tell me in advance that you were coming so that I could pick you up? Lin Lang hid her veil behind her and changed the subject in a panic. Lin Ting snatched the veil from Lin Lang's hand and roared, "You haven't finished your confinement yet. Why are you selling veils instead of staying at home to recuperate?" She was angry and distressed to see that Lin Lang didn't take care of her body. Lin Lang smiled and comforted, "I have been in confinement for 30 days. I am idle at home. It happens that Children's Day is coming soon, so I wholesaled some veils to sell and earn some pocket money. Brother-in-law doesn't give you money. Lin Ting thought of the scene he saw before going to work in the daytime, and his suspicion increased by 3 points. Could it be that Cao Zhiliang really did something to let Lin Lang down? Lin Lang shook his head, and his words were full of helplessness. Not really, it's just that when you are in a good mood, you have to look at people's faces. Did your brother-in-law look at you? Lin Ting was about to go to Cao Zhiliang to settle the score. You sacrificed so much to give him children, you went through the gates of hell twice, and you almost lost your life due to heavy bleeding. How dare he look at you? Lin Lang hurriedly pulled Lin Ting. No, he didn't. It's my mother-in-law who always likes to complain. She said she was here to take care of me during the confinement period, but she said she was not feeling well every day and did nothing. She also blamed me in front of her son, saying that I was picky and complained about everything. She always talked about the fact that I didn't give birth to a son, and even said in front of Lula that she was a money loser. I was so angry that I had a quarrel with her. Later, I thought about it carefully. My mother-in-law dared to say that in front of me because I had no income. It was not easy for me to go out to find a job with my children, so I wanted to do some part-time jobs to make some money so that I could stand up. Lin Ting was instantly furious when he heard it. I thought Li Ping was just lazy and a bit of a nag, but I didn't expect her to favor boys over girls to this extent. Lin Ting and Lin Lang hated people who favored boys over girls the most in their lives. When they were young, their father abandoned them because he disliked girls. Does the Cao family have a throne to inherit? Doesn't my brother-in-law care? Lin Lang sighed and said helplessly, you also know your brother-in-law, he is honest and simple. Every time I have a conflict with my mother-in-law, he either smooths things over or acts foolishly. I'm used to it. Lin Ting frowned and was furious. Then is there really no way to deal with someone like Li Ping? Everyone's marriage is a mess. I'm out of confinement now. After a while, let my mother-in-law go back to her hometown, and life will be quieter. Although Lin Ting was angry, it was difficult for an honest official to judge family affairs. Even if she rushed to her sister's house and had a big fight with Cao Zhiliang, it would not solve the fundamental problem, and it might make Lin Lang's situation in her husband's family even more difficult. After all, it was just a mother-in-law and daughter-in-law problem, not a problem in the relationship between husband and wife, and not a principled mistake. She couldn't let Cao Zhiliang beat up his mother, and she couldn't persuade her sister to divorce just because Li Ping was a nagging person. The mother-in-law and daughter-in-law problem has been a problem since ancient times. She was also powerless. This is the only way. Give me some veils and I'll help you sell them. How much is one? 20 for a big one and 15 for a small one. Lin Ting picked up a veil and clipped it on her head, walked towards the crowd, and after a round of sales, no one was willing to buy it. Most of the people here were grandparents taking their children out for a walk, and there were very few young people, and the target audience for things like veils were young people. Sister, how many have you sold? Lin Lang pouted and shook his head, basically they just asked. I sold them for 10 yuan each, but the grandparents thought it was too expensive. If it was any cheaper, I wouldn't make enough money. Me too, no one bought it at all. Forget it, I won't sell it. You've been tired after a day's work. Lin Lang took the veil from Lin Ting's hand and sat on a chair beside him to rest. I saw others making a lot of money selling this online, but when it was my turn to sell it, I found that it was not the same thing at all. It seems that even if I set up a street stall, I am not as good as others. Lin Lang sighed, and the self-confidence that he had finally regained was mostly worn away in one night. I think there should be some problems with our product selection and location. This veil is an online celebrity product, which is more popular among young people, and most of the people in this square are elderly people. They think this thing is not worth money, so they are unwilling to buy it for their children. Let's change the place to sell it tomorrow night. Lin Lang nodded. It's the only way. I've been a full-time mother for so many years. Now I want to earn some money with my own hands, but I find it's not that easy. Well, let's not talk about me. You've moved to Jiangcheng's place for a few days. How is your married life? Is he good to you? Lin Ting thought of Jiangcheng's concerned look in the morning, and she was still a little angry, but Jiangcheng brought her watermelon last night and let her sleep on the floor. On the whole, he is a qualified roommate. He treats me well. You don't live with your parents, right? When Lin Lang asked about this topic, his face was very serious. No. She was relieved. That's good. You must not live with your parents after marriage, especially your mother-in-law. There can only be one mistress in a home. If you meet an unreasonable mother-in-law, she will mess up your life. Don't you think I am a living example? Don't worry, we don't live with our mother-in-law. Lin Ting thought of Jiang Zhaolin. When she first met her, she fainted on the side of the road. Many people passed by at that time, but they were afraid of being scammed and were unwilling to help. She also took a gamble. It was also this opportunity that they met and added contact information. They have been in contact for many years. Every New Year and festival, she would send some local specialties to Lin Ting, and often reminded her to add clothes, making up for the maternal love she had lost for more than 20 years. Aunt Jiang is a nice person. She is the matchmaker between Qinyan and me. If I have the chance, I would like to live with her. Don't think so. The mother-in-law and daughter-in-law problem is an eternal problem. Even if she treated you well before, you are her daughter-in-law now, and your status is different. If we live together, what do you order Qinyan to do? How can she not feel sorry for her son? Lin Lang is a person who is deeply tormented by the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law problem. As a person who has experienced it, she just wants to do her best to prevent Lin Ting from following her footsteps. When she first got married, she was also very kind to Li Ping. She lost her mother when she was young, and she made up for the filial piety she did not show to her mother in the first 20 years on Li Ping. But after doing these one-sided efforts for a long time, she will also be disappointed. Over the years, Li Ping has enjoyed her efforts and felt at ease, but what she got was being scolded for being worthless, and even the children she gave birth to were looked down upon by her. Don't worry, I won't let this happen, and Aunt Jiang is not the kind of unreasonable person, she won't make things difficult for me. As soon as Lin Ting mentioned Jiang Zhaolin, her message popped up on WeChat on her mobile phone. Lin Ting, I'm in Jiangcheng. Chapter 11. Didn't your wife call you home for dinner? Lin Ting sat up in shock and her voice rose a few notes. My mother-in-law is in Jiangcheng. She immediately called Jiang Zhaolin, asked her where she was, and handed her the fruits and nutritional supplements she bought for Lin Lang. Sister, I won't take you upstairs. I'm going to the station to pick up my mother-in-law. Be careful on the way. Okay, I'll be careful. Lin Lang looked at Lin Ting's hurried back, frowning and worried. She couldn't help but sigh. Speaking of the devil will appear. I don't know how Lin Ting will get along with her mother-in-law in the future. I just hope she'll have better luck and not follow her old path. After Lin Ting met Jiang Zhaolin, they took a taxi back to Harmonious home. Lin Ting, how have you been getting along with Qinyan these days? He has a bad temper and is a bit of a germaphobe. Few girls can stand him. But if he dares to bully you, just tell me. I will never be partial and will teach him a lesson for you. Lin Ting thought of what happened in the morning. It turned out that he had germophobia and was not targeting her. Auntie, Qinyan is very nice to me. Lin Ting likes to get along with Jiang Zhaolin very much, but the identities suddenly changed from friends to mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. Lin Lang repeatedly reminded her, but she felt a little uncomfortable. You still call me aunt. It's time to change your words. Lin Ting finally reacted and opened her mouth a few times, but it was difficult to pronounce the syllables of the word mother. Her mother died when she was 5 years old. The word mother is too far away. She hasn't called her for a long time. Sorry, I'm not used to calling you mother. Jiang Zhaolin didn't want to embarrass her, so he smiled and patted her shoulder. It's okay, take your time. It's my fault that I'm not thoughtful enough. I haven't even given you the red envelope for changing my name, but I'm so anxious to ask you to call me mom. Lin Ting was afraid that Jiang Zhaolin would misunderstand, so she hurriedly explained, Mom, I didn't mean that. In this hurry, this name came out naturally. Jiang Zhaolin smiled with relief when she heard it. I know, but I still have to give you the red envelope for changing your name. She took out a thick red envelope from her bag and handed it to Lin Ting. Lin was shocked when he heard the thickness of the red envelope. Mom, I can't accept this red envelope. After Qinyan and I got married, I didn't come to visit in person. I asked you to come to see me first. It's very rude. How can I accept your red envelope? Jiang Zhaolin's smile instantly withered, and then covered by seriousness. Are you dissatisfied with the fact that an old woman like me gave too little? How could that be? Since you don't think it's too little, then accept it. It's proper etiquette to change your words and give a red envelope. You and Qinyan got married in a hurry. Our Qi family hasn't had time to prepare the meeting gifts and betrothal gifts. You've been wronged. It was hard to refuse the kindness, so Lin Ting had to accept the red envelope with a smile. Thank you, Mom, for your expense. The car slowly stopped at Harmonious Home. Mom, we're here. After getting off the car, Jiangcheng looked at the dilapidated old resettlement house in front of him, and turned to look at Lin Ting, his face full of confusion. This. Shouldn't the two of them live in Qinyan's 2,000 square meter villa after marriage? Why live in such a place? She didn't understand the situation for a while, and didn't know what Qinyan was up to. She could only take it one step at a time. Mom, the room is a little small. You sit in the living room for a while. I'll call Qinyan. Jiangcheng smiled slightly, indicating that she was busy. She stood up and looked around the duplex loft. It looked like only 30 or 40 square meters. It couldn't be more appropriate to describe it as a snail house. Qinyan was spoiled since he was a child. How could he live there? In the Qi group. Jiangqi saw that the light in Qinyan's office was still on, so he pushed the door open. It's already 8 o'clock? Why don't you get off work? Didn't your little wife call you home for dinner? Qinyan then remembered that Lin Ting hadn't sent him a message all day, and even didn't ask him if he would go home for dinner after get off work. Is it because of what happened in the morning, and she is still angry? He remembered how happy Lin Ting was when she ate Densuk black-skinned watermelon last night. Otherwise, he could bring her some back today. It was also an apology. Jiangqi, go buy me a Densuk black-skinned watermelon. Jiangqi was a little confused for a moment. No, this. The topic turned a little illogical. Which sentence did he say about watermelon? How did he become an errand boy for no reason? That watermelon is 40,000 yuan apiece. What kind of family can eat it every day? Qinyan, it's not that I can't afford it. Yes, you Qinyan have a net worth of hundreds of billions, let alone a watermelon of 40,000 yuan, even a watermelon of 1 million yuan can be eaten as a meal. Jiangqi reluctantly slapped the competitive quality plan of the Jiangdong plot on Qinyan's desk, and said angrily, I owed you in my previous life. I had to rush the plan for you during the day, and help you buy watermelons for your wife at night. Jiangqi couldn't help slapping himself as he walked. I just have a bad mouth. Why did I mention his little wife for no reason? I took on an errand job for myself. Wait a minute. Qinyan stopped him. Jiangqi turned around instantly, his eyes shining. Have you found your conscience? Do you think it's inappropriate for me, the vice president of Qi Group, to run errands for your wife to buy watermelon? The watermelon should be chilled and cut. Jiangqi couldn't help rolling his eyes, made an okay gesture with a face full of resentment, turned around and slapped himself again. I'm just cheap. Not long after Jiangqi left, Lin Ting called. Are you off work? Not yet. Mom is here, you should come back quickly. Qinyan was slightly startled and a little confused. Who's mom? Your mom. Where are you from? Home. Qinyan instantly felt like he was facing a great enemy. He concealed his identity and lied to Lin about his bankruptcy, and Jiangcheng didn't even know about it. If it was exposed, it would be troublesome. He hurriedly picked up his coat and rushed home. As soon as he left the office, Jiangqi came back with a packed watermelon. The watermelon you asked for. Thank you. Qinyan took the watermelon and rushed home without stopping. What's the hurry? Is there a fire at home? Jiangqi was confused. Qinyan has become abnormal since he got married and got the marriage certificate. I used to think he was a work machine without any emotions. There was only work in his life. Now he has more fireworks. But his love of making trouble has not changed. On the contrary, it has become worse. When Qinyan got home, Lin Ting and Jiangcheng were cooking in the kitchen. The two were talking and laughing. The atmosphere seemed very harmonious. His heart, which was hanging in his throat, was slightly relieved. It seems that he should not be exposed. You're back. Lin Ting poked his head out of the kitchen and whispered, Mom knows about your bankruptcy. Qinyan nodded slightly, handed the watermelon to Lin Ting, and then turned to find Jiangcheng. Mom, why didn't you tell me in advance that you were coming? Do I need to make an appointment with you in advance to come to my daughter-in-law's house? Jiangcheng walked out of the kitchen. When she looked at Qinyan with her hands on her hips, her face was serious, as if she was going to ask for an explanation. Qinyan immediately understood what she meant and explained with a smile, "That's not what I meant. I'm just afraid that it's not safe for you to come alone. Tell me in advance so that I can pick you up. I don't have that much face to let you, Qinyan, pick me up. After all, you didn't tell me that your house was sealed up after your bankruptcy and that you wanted my daughter-in-law to live with you in the resettlement house. If I hadn't come to visit you suddenly, how long would you have kept it from me?" Chapter 12. You are a good wife-loving kid. Qinyan took a deep breath. What was coming was coming. I haven't found a suitable opportunity to tell you yet, and my bankruptcy was too sudden. I'm afraid you are too old to accept it for a while. You are afraid that I, an old mother, can't accept it for a while, but you are not afraid of scaring away your newly married wife. Jiang Zhaolin's words were full of meaning, and the two of them knew what each other was talking about. She knew that Qinyan's purpose of arranging a bankrupt status was to test Lin Ting, and then divorce naturally, but she didn't expect that she would fall into trouble. In front of Lin Ting, she couldn't say it directly. Qinyan also knew that he was wrong to do so, and his face was full of frustration. "Mom, the meal is ready, let's eat first. I'll settle the score with you later." After the meal, Lin Ting took the iced watermelon that Qinyan brought back from the refrigerator and shared it with Jiang Zhaolin like a treasure. "Mom, try the watermelon Qinyan brought back. It's delicious and has a special sweetness. It's the best watermelon I've ever eaten." Qinyan brought it back. Jiang Zhaolin looked curious. This kid has always disliked the red tape of gifts and reciprocity, but he still knows to bring watermelon to his wife. Jiang Zhaolin picked up a fork and put it in his mouth. The unique fragrance of Densuk black-skinned watermelon spread in his mouth. "Is this a black-skinned watermelon?" Qinyan nodded slightly, "Yeah." Jiang Zhaolin knew that this watermelon was the ceiling of the watermelon world. She patted Qinyan's shoulder meaningfully. "You kid is very good at loving your wife, right?" Lin Ting looked at the two with a puzzled look. Obviously, she could understand every word Jiang Zhaolin said, but with the subtle expressions of the two, she felt that things were far from as simple as she saw. "Mom, can you tell the variety of this watermelon?" Jiang Zhaolin nodded slightly. "We have this kind of watermelon in our yard. If you like it, I'll bring you a cart next time." Qinyan looked at Jiang Zhaolin, who lied without blushing, and suddenly understood who he inherited this habit of lying. Like mother, like son. Lin was stunned. "A cart?" "Yes, a cart, as many as you want." Jiang Zhaolin said it so generously. Qinyan couldn't help but secretly complain in his heart, saying that he would love his daughter-in-law, but she spoiled this daughter-in-law even more. This black-skinned watermelon, which only grows in Hokkaido, has an annual output of 100. She brought a cart, wouldn't it be all hers? "Mom, you're spoiling Lin Ting too much. I only have this one daughter-in-law. If I don't spoil her, who else should I spoil? Do you count on me?" "Qinyan, I haven't settled accounts with you about letting my daughter-in-law live with you in the resettlement house. You'd better work hard day and night to make money for me and buy back the mortgaged house and car as soon as possible. Don't even think about letting my precious daughter-in-law suffer with you." Lin Ting was very moved by Jiang Zhaolin's preference. She thought of Lin Lang's mother-in-law, who was unreasonable and treated Lin Lang as a free nanny and ignored her years of hard work. Compared with her own mother-in-law, Lin Ting suddenly felt that she was so lucky. Even her own mother might not be able to do this. Lin Ting felt a sour nose, and resisted the urge to cry, and said with a choked voice, "Mom, you are too good to me." "Silly child, isn't a wife married into the family to be loved?" Jiang Zhaolin rubbed Lin Ting's little face, with a face full of pampering and heartache. "Mom is sorry for you, and let you suffer with my son." Lin Ting pursed his lips and shook his head. "No, I don't feel bitter. Qinyan is very good to me. I am lucky to meet you and become a family. Making money can't let Qinyan bear it alone. I will work hard with him. I believe that as long as we work together, our lives will get better and better. Qinyan, look at this good daughter-in-law. Just do it." After Jiang Zhaolin said this, he rolled his eyes at Qinyan. Qinyan pursed his lips, knowing that he was in the wrong, and didn't say anything. "Why are you still standing there? A man who doesn't make much money, but has food to eat when he comes home, but he doesn't take the initiative to wash the dishes. Yes, I'll wash them right away. At night, Lin Ting asked a technician to come to her house to fix the air conditioner in the attic, and proposed to sleep with Jiangcheng, but she refused with righteous words. How can a newlywed couple sleep in separate rooms? But if you two have to sleep in separate rooms because of the arrival of an old woman like me, then I will go back tonight and never come again. Mom, don't. I'm not. I just. Lin Ting was so nervous that she was incoherent and wanted to explain, but the words became a little hot when they reached her lips. She looked at Qinyan and asked for his help. What are you talking about? Who knew that the other party not only did not help her, but also readily agreed with Jiang Zhaolin's words. Mom, you are right. Qinyan took Lin Ting's shoulders and waved to Jiang Zhaolin with a smile. Mom, good night, let's go back to the room and sleep first. When Jiang Zhaolin heard that the two were going to sleep, he was instantly happy. Sleep well, so that I can hold my grandchildren earlier. Hold grandchildren. Lin Ting opened his mouth in shock. This. After closing the door, Qinyan took off his arm on Lin Ting's shoulder and explained, my mother is crazy about holding grandchildren. Don't mind if she induces labor. Lin Ting was stunned for a few seconds and nodded. She looked at the 4-piece set on the bed, which was still the same set last night, and turned to look at Qinyan in confusion. Didn't you change the 4-piece set I gave you this morning? Did he even dislike the sheets and quilts you washed and didn't want to use them? It's not dirty, there's no need to change it. Isn't the bed she slept in dirty? So is he explaining to her what happened in the morning? I'll sleep on the floor tonight. I saw you didn't sleep well last night. No need. I have to trouble you to maintain my pride as a man tonight. Qinyan said as he skillfully spread the mat. Lin Ting was a little excited. This man was obviously kind, but he always spoke as if she was doing him a favor. Thank you for tonight. Oh, by the way, Mom gave me a red envelope for changing my name today. Lin Ting remembered the red envelope Jiang Zhaolin gave her in the car. She took out the 5-centimeter thick red envelope from her bag before she opened it. Sure enough, a stack of red banknotes. So much. Lin Ting poured out all the cash in the red envelope, a total of 5 stacks of cash. Qinyan, Mom gave me 50,000 yuan in a red envelope for changing my name. Lin Ting held the stack of cash and kept her mouth shut in surprise for a long time. When Lin Lang got married, it was only after her brother-in-law Cao Zhiliang reminded her that Li Ping reluctantly took out a red envelope with 500 yuan in it. Qinyan looked at the red envelope in Lin Ting's hand and couldn't help complaining in his heart. His Qi group had hundreds of billions of assets, but she changed her mind and gave only 50,000 yuan in the red envelope. This old woman was a little reserved. It's not much, just take it if you give it to me. Isn't this much? Lin Ting's face was full of disbelief. He felt that there was something else in the red envelope, so he poured it out again, and a jade bead necklace fell out. What is this? After Qinyan saw the bracelet clearly, his pupils suddenly widened a little. This old woman was willing to give it away. A jade bead necklace. He said lightly. Jade? Seeing that the water is so transparent, it shouldn't be cheap, right? Chapter 13 Kissing. Can the things given by this old woman be cheap? This necklace is called Madhavani Jade Necklace, with 27 beads. It was once owned by the famous socialite Barbara Hutton. It was designed by Cartier from the imperial court of the Qing dynasty and is worth 180 million yuan. She was so surprised by the 50,000 yuan red envelope. If she told Lin that this bracelet was worth 180 million yuan, she would probably be so scared that she couldn't even hold it. Jade is not expensive, but this necklace looks so transparent that it is probably a fake. It is probably that she was deceived by the tour guide to buy jewelry and jade when she went out for a trip, and she gave it to her daughter-in-law as a treasure. Is it fake? Lin Ting took it in her hand and looked at it again and again. She didn't understand jade, but she felt that the necklace felt good and cool, and she liked it very much. It was just right for a fake, so she didn't feel burdened when she carried it, but she still felt sorry for Jiang Zhaolin being cheated of money. I like it even if it's fake. Lin Ting untied the jade bead necklace and put it on her wrist. Her face was full of smiles. Her eyes were brighter than the stars under the light, which made Qinyan absent-minded for a moment. Why do you like it more after hearing that it's fake? Qinyan really couldn't understand. Shouldn't normal people mind hearing that the gift is fake? Why is she happier than receiving the 50,000 yuan in cash? The watermelon last night was the same. As soon as he said that he would pack it up and others wouldn't eat it, he didn't charge. She ate it even happier. Fakes don't burden you, and mom doesn't know it's fake. What she gave is real, more real than real jade, so of course I like it. Qinyan looked at the innocent smile on Lin Ting's face and began to slowly understand why Jiangcheng, a lady from aristocratic family, looked down on her, but chose Lin Ting, who had no background. The pure quality in her is not possessed by any lady. Lin Ting handed the 50,000 yuan in cash to Qinyan. Qinyan looked puzzled. This is what my mother gave you. What are you doing for me? I don't need the money now, and we are married. What I have is yours. What my mother gave me is also for you. You still owe 300,000 yuan outside. Use it to pay off your debts first. Any amount you can pay back is a little bit. Qinyan pushed the money back. I can't take this money. How can a man spend a woman's money? What man and woman? Husband and wife should be equal and help each other. Take it. Lin Ting handed the money over again. It's just 50,000 yuan, which is just a meal for Qinyan. But this is the red envelope that Jiang Zhaolin gave to Lin Ting. He knows very well that he can't take this money unless he doesn't want his life anymore. I really can't take this money. You don't have to worry about the 300,000 yuan I owe. The partner who ran away with the money will be persuaded to return because of visa problems. As for the debt, the police should help recover part of it. In order to save his life, he had to lie again. Lin Ting had no doubt on her face. Really? That's great. She jumped on the bed happily, happier than receiving 50,000 yuan. Her joy was really simple. Lin Ting's feet were wrapped by the bed sheet, and he fell under the bed with an unstable center of gravity. Be careful. Qinyan was quick-witted and wanted to catch the falling Lin Ting, but she threw him to the ground and temporarily served as her meat cushion. The two bodies were tightly pressed together. Qinyan felt the softness on Lin Ting's chest very clearly, which was more attractive than it looked. He stretched his arms and lay on the ground, not daring to move, for fear of accidentally touching the place he shouldn't touch. Are you okay? He was so nervous that he stuttered. I'm fine. Did I hurt you? Lin Ting hurriedly climbed up from Qinyan, and was in a hurry. His knee accidentally hit his vitals when he was nervous. His tilder, Qinyan couldn't help but groan. Where did you kick? Let me see. Realizing that he had accidentally injured Qinyan, Lin Ting hurriedly wanted to help check where he had touched. Because of the awkward position of the touch, Qinyan hurriedly stopped him. Don't. The two stood up at the same time, and their foreheads accidentally bumped into each other again. Lin Ting fell backwards, and Qinyan was afraid that she would hit the corner of the bed, so he hurried to help her. The tall figure enveloped the petite Lin Ting, and the posture at the moment was quite ambiguous. Lin Ting raised his head suddenly. The corners of their lips accidentally touched each other. The ambiguous atmosphere reached its peak at this moment, and Lin Ting felt numb all over, and his brain immediately crashed. Time seemed to stop flowing. The whole world stopped at this moment, and the room was silent, leaving only the sound of each other's breathing. Neither of them dared to act rashly again. The four eyes met, noses pressed against noses, and the corners of their lips overlapped. The faint fragrance of the shower on Lin Ting's body was like heroin, stirring the man's beating heart. He felt his lower abdomen tighten. The woman in front of him seemed to have some magic power, which made him unable to resist. He wanted to get closer. He even shamelessly wanted to possess her immediately. He clenched his fists and tried to make himself sober. No. Qinyan pushed Lin Ting away and kept a distance from her. When pushing away, the force was not controlled well, and Lin Ting's back hit the corner of the bed due to inertia, and she frowned in pain. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Qinyan realized that he had accidentally hurt Lin Ting and apologized hurriedly. Lin Ting widened her eyes and looked at Qinyan, who pushed her away in disbelief. The two kissed unexpectedly, and it seemed that she, as a girl, suffered a loss, and she hadn't said anything yet. Qinyan's behavior just now was as if he had touched something dirty and couldn't dodge. Does he dislike her so much? Lin Ting felt very embarrassed, and she subconsciously stayed away from Qinyan's concern. It's late, go to bed. Qin Yan wanted to explain again, but Lin Ting had already laid down on the bed with her back to him. Did she misunderstand? Or was she angry? Lin Ting felt like she was going to explode. She stroked the corner of her lips that Qin Yan had kissed. This was her first kiss, and she was so disgusted. That night, because of the intimate touch just now, Qin Yan's heart was in a mess, and his brain kept replaying the scene of their kiss. Touch, smell, temperature. A little bit clearer. He felt like he was going to burn. Looking at Lin Ting lying on her side on the bed, she was wearing a pure white and simple cotton pajamas. Her shallow breathing made her chest rise and fall. Her figure was perfect and her skin was so white and tender that it could be blown away. For Qin Yan, a man who had abstained from sex for 30 years, this scene was a devastating temptation. Lin Ting, who was sleeping soundly, turned over with a murmur, and her collar slightly revealed her sexy collarbone. Qin Yan felt his brain explode instantly, his whole body was hot and unbearable, and his throat was so dry that it seemed to smoke. There was an evil voice in his brain, constantly urging him. Go. Why are you afraid? She is your wife, and you have already obtained the marriage certificate. It's legal. This is your right as a husband, and she has no reason to refuse. No. Absolutely not. He couldn't do this. He allowed himself to have such thoughts as a man when he saw such a beautiful and wonderful woman like Lin Ting, but he was a beast to put evil thoughts into action. He was not an animal with a lower body that would be dominated by desire, and his first time should be with the woman he loved most. It can't just be to satisfy physiological needs. This is also irresponsible to Lin Ting. This room is too dangerous. He took a deep breath and tried hard to suppress the evil thoughts in his heart. Chapter 14. I want to make you cry now. He quickly stood up, opened the door as if escaping, rushed out, leaned against the door, gasped for breath, and kept giving himself psychological hints. It's just physiological needs. It's human nature. Calm down. Stay calm. Why can't you sleep? Jiangcheng, who came downstairs from the living room to get some water, suddenly said something that scared Qin Yan so much that he broke out in a cold sweat. All of his hot anger was instantly dissipated. Mom, why didn't you say anything? You scared me. I went downstairs to get some water. Do I need to send you a message to ask for permission? But you didn't sleep in the middle of the night, leaning against the door and muttering something? Your face was burning like a ripe persimmon. Qin Yan hurriedly touched his face and found that it was indeed a little hot. The air conditioning isn't working well. It's a bit hot. I'm coming out to get some fresh air. He made up a lie at random, but Jiangcheng had seen through it long ago and looked as if he knew everything. I'm afraid you're so angry that you can't sleep. Oh, it's just a joke. Even if the 4 great beauties of China were resurrected and stood in front of me, I would still be able to remain calm, let alone Lin Ting, who is only slightly pretty. Don't try to accuse me of anything and then use that as an excuse to not abide by the agreement that I would divorce Lin Ting after 1 year. Jiangcheng looked at Qin Yan's stubborn look and did not expose him. I haven't forgotten the agreement. I'm just afraid that someone will regret asking me to keep this agreement in a year, and then come and beg me to tear up the agreement. I will regret it. How is that possible? At this moment, Qin Yan seemed to have heard something extremely ridiculous. Everyone just sneered at Jiangcheng's very confident words and didn't believe them at all. Don't be so hasty to say it now. What did I tell you on the day we got the marriage certificate? I said Lin Ting is a good girl and she won't leave you for money. You insisted on testing me, and even staged a bankruptcy drama. You were the only one who could come up with such a bad idea. So what do you think? You failed, didn't you? Now we can't live in a nice villa anymore, and have to live in this shabby and crowded resettlement house. But it's okay, I have to let Lin Ting teach you a lesson about your business behavior of using money to test human nature, and let you know that not everyone in this world only cares about money. Jiangcheng looked disappointed in Qin Yan and raised his finger to touch his forehead. I didn't think it through. I only said I was bankrupt and owed $300,000. If I said I owed $1 million or tens of millions, a number that Lin Ting couldn't earn in her lifetime, or if I pretended to be disabled by accident and needed her to support me for the rest of my life, I believe that even Lin Ting would leave without hesitation, without any surprises. Qin Yan's face was full of confidence. He had been fighting in the business world for many years and had seen too many examples of people being torn apart and families being destroyed due to bankruptcy, poverty, disease. Any one of them would be enough to crush an originally harmonious and happy family, let alone him and Lin Ting, a couple who got married in a flash without any love. Jiangcheng sighed, patted Qin Yan's shoulder gently, and said earnestly, "Don't imagine things that haven't happened. Human nature is not meant to be tested." Qin Yan disagreed with Jiang Zhaolin's statement. Having never tasted the sweetness of love, he is now eager to prove that there is no absolute loyalty in the world, let alone the so-called touching love. "How about we make a bet? If I can find a way to make Lin Ting leave me within a year." Before Qin Yan could finish his words, Jiang Zhaolin shook his head and interrupted him, unwilling to make this meaningless bet with him. "Son, the most important thing when people get along with each other is sincerity. Lies cannot test true feelings, nor can they test false intentions. Lies will only bring lies. Why not use your sincerity to feel it, and try to understand Lin Ting? Maybe one day, you will regret using a bankrupt persona to deceive and test him in the beginning." At this moment, Qin Yan just felt that Jiang Zhaolin was worrying too much and did not regret testing Lin Ting in the beginning. He felt that the reason why he failed to scare Lin Ting away was because the character he designed was not miserable enough, which caused him so much trouble. The next day, Lin Ting made a comprehensive analysis of all the outdoor commercial districts in Jiangcheng, and finally chose the Jiangcheng Bund Square as the location for tonight's stall. After work, I hurriedly punched out and went downstairs. In the elevator, she sent a message to Jiang Zhaolin and Qin Yan, saying that she was going to help Lin Lang set up a stall on the Bund in Jiangcheng to sell some small items and would not be going back for dinner that night. As soon as he walked out of the company building, Lin Ting saw Cao Zhiliang's car parked on the side of the road. Brother-in-law's car. Lin Ting was worried about how hard it would be to get a taxi during the rush hour after get-off work, so this was a perfect opportunity for Cao Zhiliang to take her to find Lin Lang, and it would be on their way. She walked quickly to the side of the road and was about to call Cao Zhiliang. In turn, Jiang Mingyu took the lead, opened the passenger door, and got into Cao Zhiliang's car very naturally. How did she get into Cao Zhiliang's car? "It's fine if I just happen to give her a ride in the morning, but does she also need a ride home after get-off work? And let her be the co-pilot. Are you so out of touch with propriety?" Lin Ting was not someone who would tolerate any sand in her eyes. Without any hesitation, she quickly walked forward and opened the passenger door. The three of them looked at each other. The atmosphere suddenly became subtle. "Sister Lin Ting. Brother-in-law, tell me." Lin Ting went straight to the point without any beating around the bush. Today she wanted to see whether Jiang Mingyu was a green tea girl or Cao Zhiliang was pretending to be ignorant and had the evil intention of betraying Lin Lang. "Xiao Jiang and I were going on a business trip to the next city. Our flight was at 9:30, and it was hard to get a taxi during the rush hour, so I asked her to take my car to the airport." Cao Zhiliang spoke in a very convincing manner, and his expression was not panicked at all. He did not seem to be lying, but Lin Ting still felt it was a little strange and looked suspicious. "Business trip? Just the two of you? There's also Xiao Chen, but he had to go home to get some documents, so he didn't come with us." Lin Ting looked at the two people in the car with half belief and half doubt, and his words were full of warning. Girls should pay attention to safety when they are on business trips, especially beware of married men. Lin Ting deliberately pointed out Cao Zhiliang's married status, implying that Jiang Mingyu and Cao Zhiliang should pay attention to their identities and not do things that they shouldn't do. "Thank you, Sister Lin Ting, for reminding me. I will pay attention to it. We are going to be too late to catch the plane." Lin Ting slammed the car door shut with a fake smile, then went straight to the nearby subway station to take the subway. A business trip list was updated in the DingTalk group. She clicked to enlarge. The names of Cao Zhiliang, Jiang Mingyu and Chen Peng are indeed on the business trip list. It looked like just a simple business trip. Lin Ting's doubts were finally dispelled. It was no wonder that she was worried and had wild thoughts, mainly because Lin Lang had sacrificed a lot for Cao Zhiliang. "Over the years, I have almost put all my energy into my family. She devoted her whole heart to this family and left no way out for herself. If Cao Zhiliang betrayed her, she would really have nothing." Lin Ting couldn't imagine what Lin Lang would do if such a day really came. She couldn't let that day happen. She had to keep a close eye on Cao Zhiliang for Lin Lang. In the car, Jiang Mingyu had a look of resentment on her face. Brother Cow, your sister-in-law really likes to meddle in other people's business. She always has to blame me, just like an old mother. Cao Zhiliang smiled and comforted him. She and Lin Lang are both from the countryside. They were abandoned since childhood and have no background or backing. Even if they knew, it wouldn't cause any trouble. Really? Aren't you afraid that your husband will find out about what's going on between you and me? Cao Zhiliang drove with one hand while restlessly stroking Jiang Mingyu's thigh with the other hand. All the way up, my eyes are full of desire. That yellow-faced woman has no figure and no education. She has long been out of touch with society. She has been taking care of the children at home for these years and sometimes she doesn't even wash her face. It makes me sick just looking at her. Even if she knew, would she dare to divorce me? Unlike you, you are young and beautiful, with smooth and tender skin. It makes me feel itchy just looking at you. As Cao Zhiliang spoke, he pinched Jiang Mingyu's thigh hard. She cried out shyly, and slapped Cao Zhiliang's big hand in a way that he wanted to refuse but also to welcome. Brother Cao, you pinched me and hurt me. I can't wait any longer. I want to make you cry right now. Cao Zhiliang said as he tried to take action again. Jiang Mingyu pushed him away and reminded him, "Are you so impatient? Drive carefully. I'll give it to you when we get to the hotel." Chapter 15. Someone is so angry that he can't sleep. Lin Ting and Lin Lang took their veils to the Bund Plaza in Jiangcheng, ready to have a great time, but they were dumbfounded as soon as they arrived at the square. There are indeed a lot of young people here, but there are 3 shops selling veils in the square, and their veils are of better quality and have more styles than theirs. It seems that the only winner is price. The two of them encouraged each other and walked into the crowd holding their veils. Half an hour passed and not a single veil was sold. Those who wanted to buy saw other people's veil styles, but then looked at the ones in their hands with disgust on their faces. The 2 sisters sat on the steps of the square, looking dejected. It seems like I have worked in vain tonight. How much is their veil? A pair of clean leather shoes came into Lin Ting's sight. A pleasant and attractive voice sounded above her head, and she looked up along the shoes. The man's handsome outline gradually became clear before her eyes. "Qinyan, why are you here?" Lin Ting's eyes were full of surprise. It was Jiang Zhaolin. When she heard that her beloved daughter-in-law was going to accompany her sister to set up a street stall, she immediately called him out of heartache and asked him to go and check on her. He was a staff member in a conference room and came here specially. "I'm just passing by after get off work. How are the veils selling?" Lin Ting sighed, "Don't mention it. There are already people selling veils in the square, and they are prettier than ours. We looked around and no one was willing to buy one. Take your time. You must be thirsty after selling for so long. I'll go get you some water." Lin Lang, "Thank you for your help, Qinyan." Qinyan used the excuse of going to buy water to point in the direction of Lin Ting and whisper to the couple on the side of the road, "My wife is starting a business selling veils. I'll give you 100 yuan. Please buy a few to support me. The veils you buy will be given to you as gifts." The girl took the money that Qinyan handed over and looked at him with her eyes wide open. So handsome and loves his wife so much. Then she turned to look at her boyfriend beside her, and couldn't help but complain in her heart, what kind of ugly things is she looking for? Lin Lang stared at the veil in her hand, feeling troubled. What should we do now? Lin Ting blamed himself a little. I made a wrong judgment. I didn't consider that there might be people selling veils here. If we want others to pay, it seems that we have to sell some small things that are not available here. There are so many things for sale here, what is missing? Lin Ting looked around. There are people selling rings, fine jewelry, flowers and fruits, but there are no painted ceramics. She happens to be engaged in original ceramic design, and what she has the most in her home is unpainted ceramic ornaments. She can pull it out and sell it. Sister, I've got an idea. There's no painted ceramics here, but I have a lot of unpainted ceramics. I'll buy some plaster dolls from the company, and they'll definitely be popular with young people and children. Lin Ting cheered himself up again and got to work. The couple that Qinyan had arranged happened to walk to Lin Ting's side at this time. Hello, we want to buy a veil, how much is one? This was the first time that Lin Ting was asked this question actively, and he was unable to react for a moment. It was Lin Lang who answered first. The big one is 20, and the small one is 15. Let's have 2 big ones. Lin Lang took the 100 yuan given by the other party, scanned the change through Alipay, and excitedly shared it with Lin Ting. Listen, we're opening an order. At this moment Qinyan also came back with water. Sister, wait here. I'll go back and bring some ceramics to sell. Ceramics? Qinyan didn't react for a moment. The product changed so quickly. He just bought a bottle of water and the veil was sold instead of ceramics? Lin Lang was surprised by Lin Ting's efficiency. Are you going to sell ceramics today? So what are you waiting for? Just do it. Lin Ting still feels a little embarrassed when he sees Qinyan now. She still felt a little bit bothered by the kiss that was pushed away last night, so she deliberately distanced herself from Qinyan and turned away. Qinyan immediately trotted to catch up. Let me help you. The two of them hurried home. Lin Ting rented an electric tricycle from the community property management and transported dozens of ceramic ornaments in her collection down one by one. Jiangcheng wanted to help, but Lin Ting hurriedly stopped him. Mom, you're not feeling well, so don't help me move. Then let Qinyan help you. He is worried about where to put all his energy. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been so angry that he couldn't sleep last night. Jiangcheng ruthlessly exposed what happened last night. Mom, what are you talking about? Qinyan's face turned red instantly. Lin Ting looked at the two people with subtle expressions. I was confused again and had no idea what they were talking about. Is it the kiss that was rejected? But looking at Jiangcheng's expression, it doesn't seem like that. When did her ability to comprehension become so poor? You couldn't sleep because of your burning heart. Did the air conditioner break down again last night? I didn't feel anything. Lin Ting had a pure look on her face. While others were on the highway, she was still in Maybach. But it also happened to expose Qinyan's lie last night that there was a problem with the air conditioning. Jiangcheng smiled and looked at Qinyan, saying meaningfully, it turns out that the problem is not with the air conditioning, but with someone else. Qinyan was afraid that if the old lady said a few more words, he would be so angry that his temper would be exposed. He quickly changed the subject and urged Lin Ting to go downstairs. Your sister is still waiting in the square, let's move quickly. That's right. Jiangcheng wanted to go to the square, but Qinyan hurriedly stopped him. Mom, your legs are not good, so don't go downstairs. Just rest at home. I'll accompany Lin Ting. Then take good care of my precious daughter-in-law. New. Qinyan, who had never done physical work, ran up and down the stairs several times and was almost blinded by exhaustion. By the time the two men transported the ceramics to the square, the prime time for setting up stalls had passed. They only sold them for a little over an hour and sold about 5 or 6 pieces, which was not bad. After closing the stall in the evening, Lin Ting passed by the gate of the community and saw someone selling watermelons live. Qinyan, I'm sorry to bother you today. I'll treat you to a watermelon. While Lin Ting was paying, he took a closer look and saw that there were more than 10,000 people online in the watermelon stall owner's live broadcast room. Her jaw dropped. This is more people than there are in the square all night, and it's already this late. What if she also broadcasts live? She has seen a lot of immersive painting on the internet. If she opens a live broadcast room and immersively paints new colors on porcelain glaze, some people will probably be interested, right? Then he would take the painted ceramics to Lin Lang to sell. If we can divert traffic from the live broadcast room to offline, wouldn't that be a huge profit? Just thinking about this, Lin Ting felt that money was flowing into her pocket continuously. What did you think of that made you laugh so happily? Lin Ting pretended to be mysterious and said, I have thought of a way to make a lot of money. What is the solution? Qinyan felt a chill on his back. There won't be any other physical work for him to do, right? He is the president of Qi Group, but he rides a tricycle to set up a street stall. It's unprecedented and has no bottom line. If this gets out, where will he save his face? You'll know tomorrow. I have a feeling I'm going to make a lot of money. Just wait and see how I treat you. Lin Ting patted his chest and promised. That's a proud feeling. Qinyan was secretly happy in his heart. Make a lot of money. Lin Ting didn't know yet that the person next to her had never made any small amount of money, but earned billions every minute. But he still gave Lin Ting face and said in a flattering manner, then I will have to hold onto your thighs tightly. After all, eating too much free food will make you addicted. Chapter 16 A Mess. The two dragged their tired bodies upstairs. The lights in the room were still on. Jiangcheng had not yet gone to bed and had prepared a midnight snack for her and Qinyan. Are you back? Are you exhausted? Come sit down and have a midnight snack. I made dumplings for you. Thank you, Mom. Lin Ting went to set up the stall right after get off work and was so busy that he didn't even have time to eat a bite of food. Seeing the fragrant dumplings at this moment, my appetite is whetted and I feel like I can eat a whole cow. Mom doesn't know what flavor you like, so I made two kinds, one with pork and celery filling, and the other with corn and shrimp filling. You can try them. Lin Ting picked up a dumpling and put it in his mouth. The meat is chewy, tender, delicious and leaves a lingering fragrance in your mouth. Lin Ting's eyes lit up instantly, his face full of disbelief. Is there any other pork in the world that is so smooth and tender? Mom, this pork filling is delicious. The meat is very tender, unlike the pork I bought at the market before which was tough and tough. Jiangcheng smiled. This is Okinawa black pork, and it costs 700 yuan per pound. How can it not be tender? Not only are these black pigs raised for a long time, their yield is also very low. The food they are fed is all natural, and they are definitely tastier than the pork that is grown on the market using feed. How could she, Jiangcheng's daughter-in-law, eat such unhealthy pork? Just eat it if you like it. Try the one stuffed with shrimp. Lin Ting tried the one stuffed with corn and shrimp again, chewed it for a few bites, and looked puzzled. Jiangcheng thought she didn't like it, so he asked hurriedly, is it not tasty? Lin Ting shook his head. No, it's delicious, but I feel that the shrimp meat tastes different from the shrimp I've eaten before. It's so delicious that it doesn't even taste like shrimp meat. If Mom hadn't told you that it was shrimp stuffing, I really wouldn't have been able to tell it was shrimp. As long as it tastes good. Qinyan actually didn't like dumplings, but seeing Lin Ting eating them so deliciously, he couldn't help but pick up one with shrimp filling and started eating it. He understood instantly as soon as he entered. Why did Lin hear that this doesn't look like shrimp meat? Mom, you're using it to make dumplings, isn't that too extravagant? Luxury? Lin Ting was puzzled. Is it a luxury to make two flavors? Qinyan is right. You don't have to make two flavors specially. It's too troublesome. Qinyan and Jiangcheng looked at each other and smiled. This silly daughter-in-law doesn't even know what the two of them are talking about. But Jiangcheng was also doting, and followed Lin Ting's words and said, okay, I'll make one flavor next time. Lin Ting ate several more dumplings in succession. Mom, did you buy these shrimps from the market downstairs? How much is 1 pound? They look very fresh. I've been to that market before, but I've never bought shrimps this fresh. Maybe I went there early. It's not expensive, only 30 yuan per pound. Qinyan looked at Jiangcheng, who lied without blushing at all. She really dares to say that. 30 yuan a pound. 30 yuan can't even buy shrimp thread. This Chinese splendid shrimp is not only very expensive, it is also very large and is the largest shrimp in the world. 100,000 yuan per kilogram. A lobster sells for at least 600,000. If Lin Ting knew that she had eaten 600,000 yuan in just a few bites, she would probably be so scared that she would spit out the dumplings. After having supper, Lin Ting and Qinyan were urged by Jiangcheng to go back to their room and sleep. Close the door. Lin Ting's gaze fell on the foot of the bed. It was there that she had her first kiss last night. A kiss that was rejected by their husband. Whenever Lin Ting thought about it, he felt very embarrassed and instantly became angry. The smile on his face disappeared in an instant. She said coldly without any emotion, go to sleep. Lin Ting quickly got on the bed and lay down with his back facing Qinyan. Qinyan was a little confused. Just now outside, she was talking and laughing, so why did she suddenly seem angry when she came into this room? A woman's heart is like a needle in the sea. The next day, it's time to get off work. Just at 6 o'clock, Qinyan was bombarded with calls from Jiangcheng. She urged him to go home quickly to help his beloved daughter-in-law prepare the stall items, so as not to tire herself out. Lin Ting. Qinyan looked helpless. Mom, I am the president of Qi Group after all. I manage more than 7,000 employees, own 14 companies, control 223 companies, and indirectly hold shares in 850 companies. Do you think it's appropriate for me to set up a stall? Is it inappropriate? Jiang Zhaolin didn't think it was inappropriate at all. Is it appropriate? I think it's very suitable. There's a saying that goes, if you marry a chicken, you follow the chicken. If you marry a dog, you follow the dog. Who told you to say you were bankrupt? It made my daughter-in-law have to set up a stall after get off work to support you, a pretty boy. Feed. Pretty boy? Marry a chicken, follow the chicken. Marry a dog, follow the dog. Qin Yan was completely broken down by Jiang Zhaolin's words, which contained so much information. She supports me. As a man worth hundreds of billions, Qin Yan expressed his strong disagreement. Isn't it? The house you live in now is not rented by Lin Ting. Qin Yan was speechless. It seems that he is really relying on Lin Ting for support. It looks like he has to do the hard labor tonight. Stop talking nonsense and come back soon. New. Qin Yan hung up the phone reluctantly and left the employees in the conference room. Seeing this, Jiangqi came up to him with a gossipy look on his face. Has our career geek become a good family man recently? Go away. Qin Yan rolled his eyes at him unhappily. You're rushing home in such a hurry, are you eager to eat meat? I can't tell, weren't you not interested in women before? How come you're addicted after tasting the sweetness? Qin Yan recalled the accidental kiss he had with Lin Ting. He stopped and asked Jiangqi beside him seriously. I have a friend, it's my friend, not me. Yes, it's your friend. Jiangqi couldn't help but hold back his laughter. How could he not know who Qin Yan's friends were? Moreover, he knew better than anyone that Qin Yan was not the kind of person who would meddle in other people's affairs. How could he care so much about his friends' affairs? He kissed the girl accidentally. It was an accident, but after the kiss he pushed the girl away very hard, causing her to bump into the corner of the bed. He didn't mean to do that, but since that kiss, she seemed a little cold and distant to him. What should he do now? Jiangqui's pupils couldn't help but dilate. You kissed someone and pushed them away. Quite a lot of information. But judging from the situation, Qin Yan still hasn't been able to eat pork after all this time. But I am trapped by love. It's not me, it's my friend. Jiangqi did not expose it. Any girl would feel embarrassed and angry, it's normal. You can only ask your friend to buy some gifts to appease her. Gift. Qin Yan seemed to understand, but not quite, and walked out of the company with big strides. On the way home, he was thinking about what kind of gift Lin Ting would like. The only thing he knew was black-skinned watermelon. Pony, turn around and go to the Sheraton Hotel. Yes, Master Qi. Qin Yan directly cleared out all the black-skinned watermelons in the hotel. Lin Ting called Lin Lang after get off work and told him the new money-making plan she had thought of last night. After discussing it, they finally decided to divide the work between them. Lin Ting live broadcast ceramic painting at home. Lin Lang set up a stall in the square. Lin Lang had just packed up the things he needed for setting up his stall and handed Erbao to Li Ping, asking her to help take care of him. Li Ping was very reluctant. It's not shameful to earn a few dollars by setting up a stall. Lin Lang ignored it. Brother-in-law, help me move the things I need for the stall. Li Ping became even more unhappy when she heard that Lin Lang wanted to order her precious son around. If you don't know, you might think you're going to make hundreds of millions. You want me to help take care of the kids, and Jiangcheng to help move things. Your whole family is not enough for you to deal with. As a woman, you are showing your face in public. Aren't you bringing shame to Jiangcheng? He is a company manager after all. If his subordinates see his wife setting up a stall outside, where will he save face? Cao Jiangcheng, who has always been lazy and gluttonous, also agreed, yes, sister-in-law, I am a handsome guy who graduated from high school after all. It would be embarrassing for me to help you move the things for the stall. Which girl would be willing to date me in the future? Lin Lang was furious when he saw the collusion between mother and son. She just asked Cao Jiangcheng for help. Chapter 17 deliberately distanced him. Do you think my stall is embarrassing for your Cao family? I can stop setting up a stall, but the family expenses are getting bigger and bigger, and the 3,000 yuan living expenses Jiangcheng gives me every month are not enough. My brother-in-law doesn't go to work and stays at home every day. I bought him some pure milk and he drank several bottles a day. I won't talk about other snacks he drank. He eats 3 meals a day at home, and eats meat for every meal. From today on, he will also have to contribute to the family's living expenses. As for your share, as your youngest son, he should also contribute a share. Cao Jiangcheng became unhappy as soon as he heard this. I don't have a job, so where would I get the money from? Besides, I eat my brother's food, not yours. What belongs to your brother is mine. It is our joint property. We have the obligation to support mom. Do we have the obligation to support you, an adult with all four limbs intact? Seeing this, Li Ping came out to smooth things over. We are all family, is it necessary to be so clear? Aren't you just going to set up a stall? Jiangcheng, just help your sister-in-law move some of the stuff, it's not a lot. Cao Jiangcheng reluctantly helped Lin Lang move his things downstairs. It's really exhausting for me. He was so tired that he collapsed on the sofa. He looked at Li Ping, who was sitting on the sofa taking care of the child, and said complainingly, Mom, Lin Lang is getting more and more unbridled now. She doesn't take you seriously at all. Are we just going to let her do whatever she wants? I have my own way to deal with her. Li Ping smiled meaningfully and threw Juju, who was sleeping soundly in her arms, to the ground. A baby cried loudly. It rang out over the living room. Mom, what are you doing? Didn't she want to set up a stall? I'm too old to take care of the child. It's normal for him to get hurt. She loves the child so much. If she comes a few times, shouldn't he stay at home obediently? Mom, you still have a trick. Li Ping's face was full of pride. She took out her cell phone and pretended to be nervous before calling Lin Lang. Lin Ting had just arrived at Harmonious home when Lin Lang called. Listen, I can't go to the stall tonight. My mother-in-law just called me and said that Erbao accidentally fell down. I have to go back and check on him. Fell? Is it serious? I'm going to go back and see if it's serious. I won't tell you anymore. I'm hanging up now. Lin Ting looked at the hung-up call with a worried look on his face. I couldn't help but sigh in my heart. It is not easy for a mother of two to start a business. When she got home and opened the door, she saw watermelons piled everywhere in the living room. His eyes widened instantly, his face full of surprise. Mom, where did all these watermelons come from? I'll buy. Qinyan was just about to say that he bought it specially for her. Lin Ting asked himself the first question, Mom, did you really go back to your hometown and bring a truck here? Jiang Zhaolin glanced at Qinyan. Actually. Mom, you're so nice to me. Lin Ting immediately gave Jiang Zhaolin a big hug. Any explanation she wanted to say was blocked by this sudden hug. But I can't finish all these watermelons. Can I give a few to my sister? She has never eaten this kind of watermelon before. Sure. Qinyan looked at the watermelons on the ground. He was sweating all over when he was carrying them upstairs just now. Alas! All in vain. Jiang Zhaolin took all the credit for nothing. Are you still setting up the stall tonight? Qinyan deliberately showed goodwill. Lin Ting turned her gaze towards him. The kiss that was rejected with disdain was still lingering in her heart. The smile on his face gradually disappeared, and was then replaced by coldness and alienation. No more. Not posing anymore. Jiang Zhaolin looked at Qinyan, who was trying to set up a stall. I couldn't help but smile. I don't know who he is. He was so reluctant on the phone just now, saying that setting up a stall was not in line with his status as a president, but now he looks like he is trying to please others. My sister's child fell down. Mom, I'll go over with 2 watermelons to take a look. Okay, go check it out. Qinyan was still standing there. The development of the story that night was completely different from what he had expected. He didn't know what to do for a moment. It was Jiang Zhaolin who reminded him. You go with Lin Ting. Good. Qinyan hurriedly took the watermelon from Lin Ting's hand. Let me take it. Lin Ting was still angry. She politely declined Qinyan's advances. No, I can do it myself. The watermelon is heavy, let me carry it. Qinyan took the watermelon by force. On their way to Lin Lang community, Lin Ting didn't say a word and the atmosphere was a bit depressing. That kiss. Qinyan took the initiative to speak and wanted to explain. It was an accident. I forgot about it. I think you should forget about it too. Lin Ting forced the topic to end. The atmosphere fell to freezing point again. Qinyan had never coaxed a girl before. Although he was anxious, he didn't know what to do and could only let the atmosphere remain tense. The two of them knocked on the door while holding watermelons. It was Li Ping who opened the door. When she saw Lin Ting and Qin Yan, her face instantly darkened. "Where's my sister?" "She took the child to the hospital." Cao Zhiliang was on a business trip, and as a mother-in-law, she did not accompany Lin Lang to the hospital. "Let her go alone with the child." Lin Ting got angry instantly. "She was alone. You didn't go with her." Li Ping said nonchalantly, "It's just a scratch on the skin, what's the big deal? I told her to just wipe it with iodine, but she insisted on taking her to the hospital. Why was she wasting money? What's so precious about a piece of trash? As the child's biological grandmother, how can you say such things? Juju is my sister's 10 months of pregnancy, and she spent half her life to get her. She is not a money loser." Lin Ting was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. "You can't even give birth to a son, yet you're always trying to take credit for it. You. Lin Lang has given so much for their cow family. It would be fine if she didn't appreciate it, but she's still being sarcastic and making mockery." Lin Ting was so angry that he wanted to slap her, but because she was his elder, he could only swallow his anger. "This is the watermelon I brought for my sister." Lin Ting was too lazy to talk nonsense with her, so he put down the watermelon and left angrily. As soon as he went out, he called Lin Lang, asked which hospital she was in, and rushed there in a hurry. In the hospital, Lin Lang had no money on her and the bank card was under Cao Zhiliang's name, so she hurriedly called Cao Zhiliang, but the phone rang for a long time but no one answered. "Brother Cao, this is your old woman calling." "Never mind." After taking a shower, Cao Zhiliang came out of the bathroom, wrapped in a bath towel, and pounced on Jiang Mingyu, who was lying on the bed in sexy black stockings, with an evil look on his face. Jiang Mingyu pushed him away with a smile, pretending to be understanding and said, "What if there is something urgent?" "There is nothing more urgent than making you cry right now." Cao Zhiliang pinched Jiang Mingyu's chin with one hand and kissed her hard. The big hands roamed over her body unscrupulously. Lin Lang held the child in one hand. Blood was still oozing out from the broken forehead of Juju, and his whole face was a little purple due to lack of oxygen from crying. "Answer the phone." Lin Lang looked at the phone that no one answered and cried anxiously. "Juju, don't cry. Why don't you answer the phone?" When Lin Ting rushed to the hospital, Lin Lang was standing at the payment counter, stamping his feet anxiously. She looked at this disheveled woman, holding a 1-month-old baby in her arms, and she looked like she was overwhelmed by life. This person turned out to be her sister who was only 32 years old. This scene hurt Lin Ting. Her heart suddenly felt like it was being pricked by needles. Chapter 18. She seemed to be broken. "Sister, how is Juju?" Lin Lang felt like he had grabbed a life-saving straw and hurriedly asked Lin Ting for help. "Listen, do you have money? The doctor said Juju needs stitches on his forehead, but I don't have enough money, and I called your brother-in-law but no one answered." Before Lin Ting could say anything, Qin Yan took the payment slip from Lin Lang's hand. "Let me do it. You guys take the child to get stitches first." "Thanks." The few of them worked in the hospital until 9 o'clock, and Qin Yan and Lin Ting sent Lin Lang downstairs to the community. "Sister, we won't take you upstairs." Lin Ting really didn't want to see Li Ping's sarcastic face. "Then be careful on your way back. I'll ask your brother-in-law to transfer the medical expenses to you later." "Qin Yan, we are all family, there is no need to be so formal. By the way, sister, I brought you 2 watermelons. They are on the dining table. They are grown by my mother-in-law herself. They are very sweet. You can try them when you go back." "Good." Lin Lang carried the child upstairs. As soon as I entered the door, I saw Li Ping and her son sitting in the living room eating the watermelon that Lin Ting brought them. "Mom, where did you buy this watermelon? It's so sweet." "Lin Ting sent it, and it tastes really good. There is one more, I will bring it to your sister tomorrow for her to try." The watermelon on the table was cut into 2. Li Ping and Cao Juanqiang each took half and ate it with a spoon. Lei just stood there watching with eager eyes, and Li Ping didn't even show any intention of sharing a bite with her. When Lei saw Lin Lang coming back, he immediately trotted over. "Mom, I want to eat watermelon, too." She tugged at the corner of Lin Lang's clothes with her little hand and blinked her clear big eyes. Li Ping has always been mean to her, so when she wanted to eat, she didn't dare ask her and had to ask Lin Lang for help. Lin Lang took Lei's hand and walked in front of Li Ping. When she saw Lin Lang coming back, she didn't even say a word of concern, as if she was air. After Lin Lang put the second baby in his arms back into the room, he walked to the living room again, picked up another watermelon, and went straight to the kitchen. Seeing this, Li Ping hurriedly stopped it. "Hey, what are you doing with my watermelon? You want to eat it? I'll take it to the kitchen and cut some." Li Ping snatched the watermelon. "Looks like he's protecting his food. I'm going to bring this to Li Jun tomorrow. If she wants to eat it, she can eat this." Li Ping said this with a look of disgust as she threw the remaining watermelon rind in her hand to La. Lin Lang's lungs ached from anger. Since Li Ping moved in, she has never bought any needlework. Whenever there is something delicious at home, she will give it to her elder sister-in-law. Now even watermelons have to be shipped to Cao Li Jun. This is what Lin Ting brought to me. If she wants to eat it, she can buy it herself. Lin Lang snatched the watermelon. Without paying any more attention to Li Ping, he turned and walked towards the kitchen, starting to work with the knife. Li Ping rolled her eyes and said sarcastically, "It's just a broken watermelon, who cares about it?" Then he took the watermelon rind from his hand again and cursed inwardly, "You stupid girl, you can't stand others eating. It's a waste if I give it to you." Downstairs, Lin Ting watched Lin Lang enter the elevator, then he and Qinyan took a taxi back to Harmonious home. She didn't say anything along the way and was in a very depressed mood. When Lin Lang was young, he was even molested by an uncle in the village in order to get her food. Later, in order to support her schooling, Lin Lang dropped out of school after graduating from junior high school. He served dishes, washed dishes, and worked on a factory assembly line just to earn money for her tuition. Lin Lang endured all the hardships alone, but gave her the best material conditions. Seeing that Lin Lang was having such a hard time at her husband's house tonight, Lin Ting felt so heartbroken as if a knife was scraping her, and tears flowed uncontrollably. When Qinyan saw Lin Ting crying, he panicked instantly. "You're crying?" Lin Ting raised his head and tried hard to hold back his tears. A child without a protective umbrella should not cry easily. Weakness will only attract bullying from bad people. She refused to admit it. "No, the wind blew sand into my eyes. Cry if you want to." Qinyan raised his hand and patted Lin Ting's shoulder lightly and awkwardly. When no one comforts them, the child who pretends to be strong will smile and say it doesn't hurt. But once someone comforts you, your strength will collapse in an instant. Because it was too bitter, just a little bit of sweetness and warmth would make her want to get closer and sink. Lin Ting tried hard to hold back his tears, turned his head away, and his voice was slightly choked. "Only children who are loved deserve to cry, because they will get candy if they cry. My sister and I no longer have the right to cry since the moment we were abandoned by our father." Qinyan looked at Lin Ting, who was pretending to be strong. In the past, he thought Lin Ting was optimistic, like the sun and like an invincible cockroach. "It seems like I have endless energy and vitality every day. But this moment," he felt as if she were about to break. "I don't know why." His heart also began to ache, as if something was pulling it. "If crying also requires qualifications, I can be your capital for crying in the future." Lin Ting paused for a moment and looked at Qinyan. His deep black eyes stared at her, his gaze was calm, without a trace of distracting thoughts, and full of sincerity. For the first time, she saw the sea of stars in someone's eyes. "Thank you, Qinyan." Lin Ting's eyes were filled with moisture, and he smiled, but it was a faint smile. But the dimples at the corners of her lips seemed to be filled with sake, which made Qinyan look a little intoxicated and illuminated a dark corner in his heart. Warm and numb. Qinyan felt his heart beating fast and he looked away in a hurry. For the first time, he felt that a girl who could laugh while crying was the kind of girl that he wanted to be crushed and held in his arms. Because Ju fell and was injured, Lin Lang can't set up a stall for the time being. She decided to start online live streaming first. In this way, when Lin Lang is able to set up a stall, she can direct online resources to offline. This way Lin Lang will feel better. When she gets better, she will save some money and rent a store for Lin Lang. This way she can have her own career and won't be bullied in her husband's family. Thinking of this, she immediately purchased some live broadcast equipment from the internet. After telling Jiang Zhaolin and Qinyan about his plan, he began to set up the live broadcast scene, set up his mobile phone and turned on the fill light. Start immersing yourself in painting new glaze on porcelain. Because her live streaming account has no fan base, no one watched her live streaming a few days ago. Qinyan just got home. Jiang Zhaolin hurried over with the fruit. Go check on your wife right away. She seems to have run into some problems. She's been looking worried all night. Oh. Although Qinyan was a little confused, he still took the fruit and gave it to Lin Ting. Have some fruit. Put it aside for now. I'll eat it later. Lin Ting concentrated on glazing the porcelain without even raising his head. Qinyan didn't disturb her and just stood behind her silently. A pair of dark eyes stared at her. He discovered that when Lin Ting was doing something seriously, there seemed to be a kind of magic that made him unable to help but take a few more glances. What a cool background. 3 minutes, give me his contact information. Is he an internet celebrity? How come he looks better than a celebrity? I want to take a screenshot of his exquisite facial features and use it as my wallpaper. When Lin Ting looked up, he saw that the number of people watching the live broadcast room had increased from less than 10 to 1,000 in an instant. Moreover, the number of people is still doubling, and the barrage of comments is constantly filling the screen. Just 5 minutes. The number of people online in the live broadcast room exceeded 10,000. Chapter 19. Give him 100 green hats. She was so frightened that she dared not speak, and stopped painting the ceramics. He turned around and looked at Qinyan in disbelief. What time will you be live streaming tonight? She had originally planned to end the live broadcast at 10 o'clock, but now the popularity of the live broadcast room has skyrocketed, and she has to seize the opportunity. 11 o'clock. Are you tired? Eat a piece of watermelon and then draw. Seeing that Lin Ting was holding the paintbrush in her hand and it was inconvenient for her, Qinyan picked up a piece of watermelon with a fork and wanted to feed her. He didn't think much about it, it was just a subconscious action, so he didn't realize that the act of feeding food was actually a bit ambiguous in this environment. Lin Ting was slightly startled. After being stunned for a few seconds, he met Qinyan's calm gaze, and his heart began to beat fast for some reason. She opened her mouth woodenly and took the piece of watermelon that was handed to her. Sweet. Lin Ting nodded slightly, and her cheeks couldn't help but blush. Although his eyes were calm, Lin Ting didn't dare to look at him anymore and quickly shifted his gaze to the mobile phone screen. At this glance, the number of people online in the live broadcast room has exceeded 100,000. The number of followers has increased from less than 100 to over 10,000, and is still doubling. Is she famous now? The screen was filled with people trying to get Qinyan's contact information. The little brother's voice is so soft and numb, I feel like my ears are pregnant. I think I'm in love. I really want to know which is sweeter, the watermelon or the little brother. I also seem to be eating the watermelon that my brother personally fed me. What is the relationship between the anchor and the little brother? The comments were all asking about her relationship with Qinyan. Lin Ting looked at Qinyan behind her, and he also looked like he was waiting for her answer. His mine. Before she even uttered the word husband, the barrage of comments had already exploded. Are they boyfriend and girlfriend? I'm not going to break up just after falling in love, am I? No. Seeing the fans' strong resistance, Lin Ting quickly changed his words, he is my brother. Brother? Qinyan looked surprised. Lin Ting quickly gave him a look, suggesting that he should not reveal the truth. As the popularity of the live broadcast room soared, more and more people came to give gifts. In addition to Qinyan's fanatical fans of his appearance, there were also some fans of Lin Ting. I want an underglaze painted cup hand-painted by my wife. My wife has such a sweet smile. Qinyan doesn't often go online, and he felt a little uncomfortable when he saw those people calling his wife in the barrage. He couldn't say. What made him even more uncomfortable was that Lin Ting did not give him a formal status and said that he was just her brother. They call you their wife? Qinyan questioned Lin Ting with jealousy. Lin Ting hurriedly explained, they just expressed their love. Qinyan didn't understand. How could the word wife be said so frivolously? Isn't this a clear sign of him being cuckolded? And there are no less than 100 comments about his wife. Doesn't that mean he is wearing 100 green hats at the same time? Qinyan suddenly felt a green color above his head. He is the president of Qi Group, worth hundreds of billions and with countless assets. Could it be that he is cuckolded more often than others? Don't be ridiculous. His face suddenly darkened. Lin Ting, who was standing by, was completely unaware of this and was completely immersed in the joy of his live broadcast room becoming popular. In this era, traffic is king, and all of this will be money in the future. Speak of money and money will come. Suddenly, several big brothers appeared in the live broadcast room and started giving gifts crazily. Thank you for the rocket. Thank you husband for the 10 carnivals, thank you husband for the. Lin Ting imitated other bloggers. She looked at the gifts that kept appearing on the screen, curious about their prices, and took out her phone to search for them. You don't know until you search, and you'll be shocked when you do. One carnival costs 3,000 yuan, and 10 carnivals cost 30,000 yuan. She sold ceramics at the Bund Square in Jiangcheng for 2 hours and earned less than 200 yuan after deducting the cost. Isn't this money too easy to come by? What did you just call him? Husband. Jiangcheng was stunned. Calling someone else husband in front of him? Although they got married after a blind date and had no emotional foundation, he was her nominal husband after all, and this was certified by the state. Jiangcheng felt like his backyard was on fire. At that moment he felt the hat on his head was greener. Lin Ting knew that Jiangcheng had misunderstood, and hurriedly explained, this husband is not what you think it is. His online name is husband. He still couldn't understand. Even though the internet is virtual, you can see others calling his wife, wife, and his wife calling others, husband. I just feel uncomfortable. He believed that no man in this world could endure it. He couldn't just let the hat go green like this. He immediately took out his mobile phone, downloaded the Lin Ting Live app, and registered an account named Q. Isn't he just giving gifts? He didn't believe that there was anyone richer than him in Jiangcheng. Lin Ting was stunned as he looked at the carnival that kept refreshing on the screen. What kind of rich person is this, throwing money around? 10, 100, 1,000. Later, Lin Ting no longer dared to count. The revenue from the live broadcast in the background was doubling, tens, hundreds, thousands, and hundreds of thousands. She was so scared that her paintbrush fell to the ground. Who is this Q? Is he here to spend money? This carnival is like free money, so he's spending money like crazy. Jiangcheng looked at the shocked Lin Ting, and asked with a smile on his face, pretending to be ignorant, this person gave you so many carnivals, why don't you say thank you to him? Lin Ting was stunned and turned to ask Jiangcheng in disbelief. I'm not dreaming, am I? Otherwise, pinch me. I always feel like he's throwing money at me. Isn't it just throwing money around? Jiangcheng looked at Lin Ting's confused expression and the smile on his face deepened. He just spent tens of thousands of dollars on gifts, but it scared her like this? If she knew that her husband was the richest man in Jiangcheng and worth hundreds of billions, wouldn't she faint? He suddenly became curious about Lin Ting's reaction after knowing his true identity. You're not dreaming. So is this Q the reincarnation of the god of wealth? Coming here specially to give me money? Seeing Lin Ting's silly and cute look, Jiangcheng couldn't help but want to laugh, and subconsciously raised his hand and pinched her face gently. It feels soft and sticky, like a glutinous rice dumpling. He said with a doting look on his face, I don't know if he is the god of wealth, but you seem to be a little money grubber. Lin Ting looked at the gifts that were still flooding the screen and was so scared that he quickly closed the live broadcast room. Jiangcheng's account had just been upgraded, and he was about to give a more expensive gift when the system reminded him that the anchor had gone off the air. Why isn't he at broadcasting anymore? The money came too quickly, and it made me feel uneasy. Every penny Lin Ting earned before was earned through his own hard work. It has never been so unreal. This Q appeared so inexplicably. His homepage has no fans or followers, and he has never posted any works. It looks like a newly registered account, and he doesn't even have an avatar. If it was just a small amount of 1 or 200 yuan, she could still take it with a clear conscience. But this is tens of thousands of dollars in cash. There is no free lunch in the world. Even in live streaming, it is a relationship of mutual demand. What are you trying to achieve? It was precisely because Lin Ting didn't know what he was up to that made her even more uneasy. Jiangcheng didn't expect that he only spent tens of thousands of dollars and scared Lin Ting so much that he turned off the live broadcast. Seeing her so anxious, he comforted her, maybe it's just some rich guy who was bored and wasted money. Don't think too much. You made hundreds of thousands of dollars in one go. Aren't you happy? Lin Ting looked at the unreal numbers in the background. It would be a lie to say she was unhappy, but besides being happy, she was more terrified. Chapter 20. Even his people dare to touch. The next day, when Lin Ting woke up and turned on his phone, he was stunned. Message 99 plus, private message 99 plus. In just the time it takes to sleep, her account gained 800,000 followers. Lin Ting became a hot topic because of a mysterious rich man who dropped into the live broadcast room and gave a lot of gifts. Many netizens are speculating, who is this Q? Lin Ting quickly shared the news with Lin Lang, and slightly adjusted the direction of his subsequent money-making plan. Sister, you should focus on taking care of Juju for the time being. Once I build up the account and accumulate a certain amount of popularity, I will divert traffic offline. After hanging up the phone, Lin Ting transferred 20,000 yuan to Lin Lang. That night, she saw Lin Lang in the hospital, crying anxiously because of the medical expenses of several thousand yuan. She secretly vowed to work hard to make money and become Lin Lang's biggest supporter and most solid backing. This allows her to feel confident even if she becomes a full-time mother. Li Ping, who favors boys over girls, no longer dares to look down on Lin Lang and her children. Lin Lang looked at the 20,000 yuan transferred by Lin Ting. I feel mixed emotions. I thought of my husband again. When he persuaded her to quit her job and become a full-time mother, he promised her solemnly that from then on, he would be responsible for making money to support the family, and she just had to focus on being beautiful. But it only took a few years. But he was even reluctant to give the 3,000 yuan monthly living expenses. Walls have ears. Cao Jiangcheng, who was curled up on the sofa playing games, overheard the entire conversation between Lin Lang and Lin Ting. He still hasn't recovered the face he lost last time at the Grand Hyatt Hotel. Married to a bankrupt pauper, and still want to make a comeback through live streaming? He opened the live broadcast software and quickly found Lin Ting's account. He watched all her works from beginning to end and saw that her homepage profile said that she would live broadcast at 8 o'clock every night. A smirk appeared on his lips. I was worried that I couldn't find an opportunity to vent my anger. Cao Jiangcheng, who has been using the internet for more than 10 years, knows very well how to hack someone online. Especially for a woman, how easy it is. All it takes is a keyboard to make her rot in the mud, never to be able to turn over. Lin Ting, I'm going to give you a big gift tonight. Lin Ting returned home from get off work. Jiang had already prepared the meal. When he saw Lin Ting coming back, he hurriedly greeted him with a smile. Is my daughter-in-law back? The meal is ready, come and wash your hands and eat. Lin Ting glanced into the bedroom. Mom, Qin hasn't come back yet. I called him. He has a meeting at the company tonight and will be back a little later. Let's eat first. She has been busy with her side job these days and often works until 11 or 12 o'clock. Qin has always been with her and never complained. She had forgotten that they were working in sales and their job was very busy and hard. Then let's leave some food for him. Lin heard this and took a lunchbox from the kitchen, taking out some of each dish. Jiang was very pleased to see that Lin Ting cared so much about her son. After dinner, 8 o'clock. Lin Ting started the live broadcast on time, but this time she turned off the live broadcast reward function. She still felt that the money earned from tips from her big brother was not secure. She should make money by relying on her skills. She can first live broadcast ceramic hand painting to gain some fans, and then sell ceramics. This is also more long-term. With such a fan base, there were already thousands of people watching online right after the show started. Lin Ting lowered his head and concentrated on drawing, occasionally looking up at the barrage and answering fans' questions. At the beginning, the live broadcast room was normal. Until a netizen named Ying Junjun came and said that Lin Ting had an immoral private life and was a hostess when she was in school. He also ordered her. Although she was dressed pure and conservatively now, she was very seductive in bed and had a great figure. Have fun and be proactive. The fans didn't believe it at first, and they even supported Lin Ting and called him a hater. It wasn't until a photo of Lin Ting wearing sexy lingerie was posted on his homepage that the atmosphere in the live broadcast room changed completely. The comments were all cursing Lin Ting. They said she was a slut, shameless, and made money by selling her body. No matter how Lin Ting explained that the photo was photoshopped and did not show her, no one believed it. He just photoshopped a picture. He made up a dirty rumor with just his mouth. Lin Ting was nailed to the pillar of shame. The popularity of the live broadcast room has been increasing. Those disgusting slanders kept appearing on the screen. They said she was dirty and didn't deserve to live. Some even asked in private messages how much it would cost to sleep with her for one night. Some even cursed her whole family to death. Everyone's words were spitting, and Lin Ting was drowned out. She just felt the sweetness brought by the internet dividend last night, and before she could react from the joy, Lin Ting fell from heaven to earth in just one day. I have truly experienced the destructive power of cyber violence. They only need to tap on the keyboard to slander her to the point of being worthless, tearing her dignity apart and trampling it into the mud. Lin Ting was scolded so much by the black fans that she didn't dare to look at the comments. Her hands holding the paintbrush were shaking. In the Chi group, Jiangcheng was sitting in the conference room while the employees were reporting their work plans for the next quarter. He remembered that Lin Ting was going to do a live broadcast tonight. I looked at my watch. It was 8:30. She should have been on the air for half an hour. In order to prevent her from calling him Big Brother and husband again in the live broadcast room, he directly topped up 1 million yuan into his account and prepared to give out gifts again. His goal tonight was to make Lin Ting keep calling his name. He just clicked on the live broadcast. His face instantly darkened. The screen was filled with obscene words. It was the first time that Lin Ting had seen such a scene. She stared at the screen at a loss. She opened her mouth, but was no match for the tens of thousands of keyboard warriors in the live broadcast room. She bit her lip tightly, suppressing the grievance in her heart and preventing tears from falling. Jiangcheng's heart was broken by what he saw. He was only away for a while, and these people dared to bully her like this? How dare they? Jiangcheng frowned, clenched his fists, and pounded the table hard. The employee who was reporting on his work on the stage was so frightened that he dared not speak. All eyes in the entire conference room were cast on Jiangcheng, and no one dared to make a sound. The meeting is adjourned. Jiangcheng stood up suddenly and walked out of the meeting room quickly. Jiangcheng was also confused and hurriedly chased after him. What happened? Why are you so angry all of a sudden? Jiangcheng's eyes were still fixed on the mobile phone screen, watching Lin Ting's every move. This silly woman, doesn't she know how to refute when being scolded? Why don't you just shut down the live broadcast? Just let them scold you. Check who this person is. Jiangcheng threw the phone to Jiangcheng. He wanted to see who dared to touch his people. Jiangcheng was confused. Didn't he usually pay attention to what was happening online? Why was he watching a live stream of a beautiful woman? Why are you checking him? Just check it if I tell you to. Jiangcheng almost roared, his eyes full of anger. It was also the first time that Jiangcheng saw Jiangcheng lose his temper so badly. He did not dare to delay and immediately notified the employees in the company's technical department to check. 5 minutes later, Jiangcheng came back with the information he found. We found out that this person is Cao Jiangcheng, 25 years old, from Saojia village, Jiangcheng, graduated from high school, and currently staying at his brother Cao Jiliang's house. There is someone at home. It turned out to be him. That day at Junyu Hotel, he noticed that there was a conflict between Cao Jiangcheng and Lin Ting, but he didn't expect that he would slander Lin Ting on the internet. Block his account. Block the account. We don't have the authority to do so. Chapter 21. Trust her unconditionally. Jiangcheng immediately contacted the CEO of the app and used the intended investment as a bargaining chip to block Cao Junwei's account, and quickly removed and blocked all online comments about Lin Ting. After doing all this, he felt a little relieved. Jiangcheng looked at Jiangcheng, who looked worried. I couldn't help but wonder who this female anchor was, who could make Jiangcheng, who was always calm, lose control like this. Who is this beautiful anchor? Is she important to you? After all, it was the first time in Jiangcheng's life that Jiangcheng could abandon everyone in a conference room, run out angrily, and even ask him to notify the technical department to check it out late at night. My wife. Your wife? Jiangcheng's eyes were as big as bells, his face full of disbelief. He is worth hundreds of billions of yuan, owns 14 companies, controls 223 companies, and indirectly holds shares in 850 companies. His other half must be a lady of high socialite. How could he possibly marry a female anchor who is an internet celebrity? And she is a little-known anchor at that. This is totally inconsistent with his identity. Any questions? Jiangcheng's eyes narrowed coldly, and the air pressure around him dropped immediately. Jiangcheng was so scared that he immediately swallowed all the questions in his mind. He smiled flatteringly and said, "No problem, my sister-in-law is very beautiful." The other side. Lin Ting realized that someone was deliberately slandering her. She couldn't just sit there and wait for death. Weakness was reserved for those with umbrellas, and she didn't have that capital. Since that black fan can Photoshop pictures and spread rumors, she can also use pictures to prove her innocence. She first recorded the live broadcast room. Then she clicked on the anti-fan's homepage and saved screenshots of all his messages, including the large-scale photo with her face photoshopped on it. She did all this calmly, then turned off the live broadcast, took screenshots of the existing clues and evidence, and sent them all to her senior who studied IT in college. "Could you please help me check who owns this account?" His account was blocked. Banned. Lin Ting was puzzled and clicked on the black fan's homepage again. His avatar had turned grey and the video on the homepage had been removed. Who is helping her secretly? Or was it because this black fan spread rumors and posted malicious comments and was blocked by the system? Is there any need to check? Check. She is not someone who would intentionally cause trouble, but if trouble comes to her, she will not be afraid. Even if his account is blocked, she will find out who wants to harm her. After dealing with Cao Juanxian's matter, Qin always felt a little uneasy. Lin Ting's helpless look in the live broadcast room still lingered in his mind. He thought again of her vulnerable side that night in the taxi. "Old Mar, go back to the harmonious homeland." "Okay, Master Qi." In the car, Qin was browsing the news, and he confirmed again and again that all the information about Lin Ting on the internet had been deleted. Suddenly, a piece of news popped up. A female blogger in a certain community jumped to her death because she could not bear the online violence. He was startled. For the first time, I felt what fear was. "Old Mar, drive faster." "Yes, Master Qi." Before the car stopped at the entrance of the community, Qin couldn't wait to open the door and get out. He rushed home without stopping, climbed up to the 6th floor in one breath, opened the door and looked breathlessly for Lin Ting. Jiangcheng was cutting fruit in the kitchen. "Mom, where's Lin Ting?" "In the bedroom." Qin immediately rushed to the bedroom. He was really afraid that something might happen to Lin Ting. She looked so fragile, and he might become desperate. "Push the door open with force." Their voice shouted nervously, "Lin Ting." In the bedroom, Lin Ting was sitting in front of the computer, looking as if nothing had happened. He looked at Qin with confusion. "What's wrong?" Seeing that Lin Ting was fine, he breathed a sigh of relief and asked tentatively, "Are you okay?" "I'm fine." She smiled slightly, her dimples were shallow, like a breeze blowing by. Jiangcheng came over with the cut fruits and looked at Qin, whose forehead was covered with sweat, with a puzzled look on his face. "What happened? Why are you so nervous?" "I'm glad you're okay." Qin took the fruit from Jiangcheng's hand and handed it to Lin Ting, observing the changes in her facial expression. She looked no different from usual. But the more normal it was, the more uneasy Qin felt. With so many people scolding her online, how could she be so calm, as if nothing had happened? "What happened in your live broadcast room?" Qin hesitated to speak, not knowing whether he should bring it up. "You know everything." Qin nodded slightly. The pupils are slightly sunken and unclear. His complexion did not look very good, and there seemed to be anger lingering between his eyebrows. Lin Ting thought that he must have seen the photo on the internet and came to her for verification. Yes, anyone who sees that photo that has been photoshopped without any traces of it would doubt whether she is really a hostess as what is said on the internet. Qin is her husband now. Although they had a flash marriage and had no emotional foundation, she was his legal wife after all. Any man would be angry if he suddenly found out that the person he married had that kind of job before marriage. She could understand. "Qin, actually that photo is. I know that's a rumor. You are not allowed to read a single word of what those haters say, let alone take it to heart, or else you will really fall into their trap." Qin was filled with indignation. He spoke a long speech in one breath. Lin Ting was stunned and very surprised. She looked at Qin, who was always concise and frugal with his words. He actually said these chicken soups to her. Instead of questioning and doubting like those netizens, he was comforting her. "Do you believe me?" Lin Ting was a little flattered. Certainly. Why? After all, they only believed that hater, and he even posted photos as evidence. Lin Ting was still puzzled. She was misunderstood by so many people tonight that she felt it was unreal that someone believed her, and she even began to doubt the credibility of Qin Yan's words. I have my own decision. She hadn't explained yet, but he believed her unconditionally. Lin Ting was very moved. Thank you, Qin Yan. She felt a warm current in her heart and her nose felt a little sore. In the live broadcast room, she was abused by so many black fans and netizens, but she didn't feel like crying. Even though she was trusted unconditionally by others, she felt wrong to the point of wanting to cry. Qin Yan asked, "What are you going to do next?" The live broadcast will definitely not be available recently. I'll check the person who slandered you. Before Qin Yan could finish his words, he was interrupted by Lin Ting. As for the person who deliberately spread rumors, I have already taken screenshots of his comments that spread rumors about me, as well as his ID information. I will find someone to help me find out who is deliberately slandering me. When Lin heard this, his eyes were firm and he showed no fear at all. The actions are clear, decisive and very courageous. She adjusted her state so quickly. She didn't even have time to complain or cry before she figured out what to do next. Clear logic and clear mind. Although she looks weak, she is as tough as weeds in her bones. Qin Yan once again looked at her with admiration. If you find out who this person is, what are you going to do? Qin Yan asked tentatively. After all, this person is Cao Juanqian, Lin Lang's brother-in-law, and his identity is somewhat sensitive. Let him apologize publicly, and I will sue him. The internet is not a lawless place. I will let him know that there is a price to pay for spreading rumors and slander. Even after being subjected to those foul language, there was still light in her eyes and she still believed in justice. Qin Yan felt fortunate about this. I know some people in IT, do you want me to help? Lin Ting shook his head slightly. No, I have sent all that information to my senior who studies technology and asked him to help check it. However, the Black Fan's account has been blocked, so it may be difficult to check it. When you are in trouble. The first thing Lin Ting thought of was not to ask her husband for help, but to solve the problem on her own. For some reason, he felt a little lost. If you need my help, feel free to tell me. When I started my own company, I knew a lot of network professionals. As you said, we are husband and wife, so don't be polite to me. If I need your help, I will definitely not be polite. Lin Ting smiled indifferently, just like a green lotus blooming in early summer, pure as water, which made Qin Yan absent-minded for a moment. Chapter 22, A Bitch and a Dog, Forever. Night, on the balcony. Qin Yan looked at Lin Ting who was sleeping soundly in the bedroom and called Jiangcheng. The beautiful dream over there was disturbed, and there was some resentment in the words. Brother, do you want to check what time it is? Did you sleep? Jiangcheng was speechless for a while, and couldn't help but secretly curse Qin Yan as a psychopath in his heart, but the other party was his immediate superior after all, so he took a deep breath and suppressed the anger in his heart. Don't tell me you called me at 2 a.m. just to ask if I was asleep. Who is still awake at this hour? And even if I was asleep, you woke me up. Restore Cao Juanqian's account to normal, but restrict all his operating functions. Qin Yan stopped beating around the bush and told him his purpose directly. Unblock the account. Jiangcheng was completely speechless after hearing this. What was he going to do next? They were so anxious to block my account at night, and finally it was blocked. Now at 2 a.m., they called again to unblock it. Isn't this pure torture? He was angry but dared not speak out. He suppressed his anger and nodded. Okay, anything else? If not, I'll hang up now. It's unblocked now. Now. Jiangcheng rolled his eyes at the phone screen. After his boss got a wife, his demands became more and more perverted. Any questions? Does he dare to say there is a problem? Wouldn't you be scolded if you said it? When has Qin Yan ever delayed anything he wanted to do? Hasn't he always responded to every request? Isn't efficiency his main goal? No problem. After getting Jiangcheng's reply, Qin Yan hung up the phone without hesitation. I have no problem with that, but the staff at the APP have already gone off work. If you want to unblock your account, you can only wait until tomorrow when someone else is at work to help you unblock your account. Jiangcheng said a lot in one breath, only to find that the other party had hung up the phone long ago. Okay, very good. Well done. He looked at the phone screen that was hung up. I laughed out of anger. I owed you this in my last life. He took a deep breath, suppressed his anger and bad temper again, and walked quickly to their computer. It is better to rely on yourself than to rely on others. Fortunately, he took hacking technology as a side course in school. The background of this app is still easy to conquer. In no time, Cao Juanxiang's account was unblocked. The next day, Ronald Ceramics. Lin Ting punched in at the company to go to work. As soon as she sat down at her workstation, she felt that her colleagues were looking at her strangely. She didn't think much about it, took out her phone and mustered up the courage to open the app. She thought there would be many new private messages scolding her and a barrage of obscene words thrown at her. Unexpectedly, all the comments and videos that slandered her on the internet were deleted overnight. She breathed a sigh of relief and got up to go to the pantry to get some water. Sister Ju, Xiaoli, good morning. Lin Ting greeted her colleagues with a smile as usual. The colleagues who were chatting excitedly just now all walked away when they saw her coming. Look at her eyes. It's like seeing something dirty. After pouring the water, she returned to her workstation and turned to look at them. They all turned their eyes away. Lin Ting was confused. Jiang Mingyu ran over with a concerned look on her face. Sister Lin Ting, why are you here at work? It's a work day today, it would be strange if I didn't come to work. Lin Ting found her a little bit confusing, so he ignored her, turned on his computer, and logged into his work WeChat account. Jiang Mingyu had no intention of leaving. Do you have anything else to do? Didn't you check the group? What group? Lin Ting was a little confused. Her work WeChat and personal WeChat are separate. She usually logs out of her work WeChat after get off work, so she doesn't see the messages in the WeChat group in time. Someone sent a photo of you in the work group last night. Lin Ting quickly opened the WeChat group. There were 99 plus messages. She quickly flipped to the beginning, which was the large-scale photo with her face photoshopped in it. Sister Lin Ting, is the person in this photo really you? Lin Ting raised his head abruptly, looking at Jiang Mingyu with anger in his eyes, and asked angrily, who sent it? It's not me. Jiang Mingyu was startled by Lin Ting's sudden roar, and hurriedly waved her hands to explain, I also saw it and told you out of kindness. I believe that even if you do that kind of work, you must have your own difficulties. Lin Ting clicked on the WeChat profile picture of the person who posted the photo. There are more than 50 people in this group, and it is the first time she has seen this person send a message in the group. She immediately sent a friend verification. However, the other party has set a setting that does not allow adding friends in the group. Jiang Mingyu pretended to be kind and comforted her. Sister Lin Ting, I know you have your reasons. I heard that you were abandoned by your father when you were young. It does cost a lot of money to go to college in Jiangcheng. After all, that kind of job makes money quickly, but the money is always dirty. And those men are very dirty, you'd better not continue to do it. If you accidentally get some dirty disease, it will be too late to regret it. Jiang Mingyu had an innocent look on her face and spoke softly. Every word seemed to be trying to persuade Lin Ting. Although there was not a single swear word, every word was like a sharp sword, full of malice, and with just a few words, Lin Ting was nailed to the pillar of shame. That person in the photo is not me. However, in the eyes of these colleagues who had preconceived notions, Lin Ting's explanation was nothing more than an angry denial of shame. No one would believe it. They were only willing to believe what they wanted to believe, and even wished she really lived in the mud. Lin Ting, come with me to the office. Lin Ting was called to the office by the HR manager. Come in and close the door. Lin Ting closed the door and hurriedly explained, Sister Gua, that photo is photoshopped, it's not real. Lin Ting, this incident has already brought a bad impact to the company. If you continue to work here, it will only affect other colleagues. You should take the initiative to resign. Sister Guo went straight to the point. She didn't listen to Lin Ting's explanation at all and didn't believe it at all. I disagree. There is no problem with my work ability. I have never made a mistake in the company over the years. I consider myself a dedicated employee. The company can't let me leave just because of a photoshopped photo. It's not fair to me. Sister Guo crossed her hands on the table, leaned forward slightly and kept her temper. This is not a question of work ability. When a company hires an employee, it not only looks at her work ability, but also her character and conduct. Your chaotic private life and even doing that kind of work do not meet the company's recruitment standards. I didn't. I said the person in that photo was not me. How are you going to prove it? Lin Ting took a deep breath, stood up from his chair, and said word by word, "Give me a week, I will prove my innocence, and then I will ask the company to issue a statement for me in the work group." Sister Guo looked down and thought for a moment. She actually didn't want to agree to Lin Ting's request. Today, Supervisor Cao instructed her to resign voluntarily, but Lin Ting had been working here for 2 years. If she is forcibly dismissed, the company will need to pay N+1 compensation, and Lin Ting may even go to labor arbitration. If this responsibility falls on her again, wouldn't she be in a thankless position? What if you can't prove it after a week? If I can't prove it, I will resign voluntarily and will not ask the company to give me any compensation. Lin Ting's words just dispelled Sister Guo's concerns. She readily agreed, "Okay, then I'll give you a week, but during this week, the company needs to suspend you without pay, is that okay?" "Good." Lin Ting walked out of the office. Jiang Mingyu was still standing next to her workstation, with an innocent expression on her face, but a look of pride in her eyes. Lin Ting walked straight past her, packed up his things and left. "Sister Lin Ting, have you resigned?" Lin Ting paused, turned around, looked at her meaningfully and said, "You want me to quit so much, are you afraid that I'll find out something?" Jiang Mingyu was shocked. A trace of panic appeared on his face. "What do I have to be afraid of? I haven't done anything wrong." "You'd better not have done anything wrong, otherwise if I find out, I will let you know what kind of person you have offended." Lin Ting's lips curled into a smile, with a hint of threat in his words. She is not a soft persimmon that can be bullied by anyone. When she was a child, she fought with a dog for a bite of food. Any boy in the village who bullied her was beaten by her until his nose and eyes were swollen and he cried for his parents. Jiang Mingyu was so frightened that she stood there in a daze. Only after Lin Ting walked a long way away did she dare to breathe deeply. She hurried to Cao Zhiliang's office. "Brother Cao, has Lin Ting already discovered what's going on between you and me?" She couldn't have known. Cao Zhiliang was very sure. He always appeared to be honest and simple in front of Lin Ting and Lin Lang. No matter who she suspected, she would never suspect that such a person would cheat. Jiang Mingyu still felt uneasy. The look Lin Ting gave her just now was really scary. "Just in case, let's fire Lin Ting right away. That way, you and I don't have to be sneaky in the company anymore." As Jiang Mingyu spoke, she lifted up the hem of her skirt and sat on Cao Zhiliang's thighs. She put her hands on his shoulders and seduced him with a pair of eyes full of temptation. "I have already informed the HR department. She will automatically resign in a week. Why not just fire her?" Jiang Mingyu was not satisfied with the result. She pouted and complained, "Didn't you see how arrogant Lin Ting was just now? He looked like he wanted to eat me. Who else can eat you except me?" Cao Zhiliang raised his hand and lifted Jiang Mingyu into his arms, pinched her chin, bit her hard, and his big hands wandered across her chest unscrupulously. Jiang Mingyu tried to refuse, but still wanted to. "Brother Cao, this is in the office. Isn't it more exciting? You are so bad." Jiang Mingyu smiled and raised her hand to pat Cao Zhiliang's chest. "Don't you just like my badness?" "Hate." Jiang Mingyu pretended to be shy and wanted to get up and hide away, but Cao Zhiliang pulled her with his big hand, hugged her again and pushed her against the table. "I can be even worse. Do you want to see it?" Chapter 23, Indecent. Harmonious Home. Lin Ting stood at the door of his house, took out the key, took a deep breath, tried hard to force a smile and opened the door. "Mom, I'm back." Jiang Zhaolin was cleaning. When he heard Lin Ting's voice, he hurried over. "Why are you back now? Did you take a leave because you are not feeling well?" Seeing that Lin Ting's face didn't look very good, Jiang Zhaolin hurriedly raised his hand to touch Lin Ting's forehead. He was relieved to see that she didn't have a fever. Lin Ting shook her head. Looking at Jiang Zhaolin, who cared about her so much, she felt touched. It turned out that having a mother felt so good. "Mom, you are so nice to me. I want to hug you." Lin Ting opened her arms and acted coquettishly. Although Jiang Zhaolin didn't know what was wrong with Lin Ting, he gave her a hug without hesitation. "What happened? Are you tired from work? Lin Ting nodded in her arms. At this moment, she just wanted to nestle in Jiang Zhaolin's arms, absorb the warmth and escape from reality. If you are tired from work, just ask for leave. If you really don't want to work, just quit. Leave the money making to Qin Yan. With his muscular body, how can he not even be able to support his wife? Lin Ting was amused by Jiang Zhaolin's words. Mom, I feel like you are not my mother-in-law, but more like Qin Yan's mother-in-law. Other mothers-in-law are more distressed about their son's hard work in making money, but you are the only one who is distressed about your daughter-in-law. Mom has never considered you as my daughter-in-law. I have always treated you as my own daughter, closer to me than Qin Yan, my own son. When Jiang Zhaolin said this, her face was filled with pride, as if she wanted everyone in the world to come and see how beautiful her daughter, Jiang Zhaolin, was. Then Qin Yan might be jealous. Let him eat whatever he wants. I promise you, as long as I am here, Qin Yan's status in this family will never be higher than that black watermelon on the ground. Lin Ting followed the direction of her finger and looked at the black-skinned watermelons piled on the ground. He imagined that Qin Yan, who was 1.89 meters tall, had shrunk in an instant to be smaller than the watermelons. Puff! Har har! Lin Ting couldn't help laughing at Jiang Zhaolin's words. Just laugh. When Jiang Zhaolin saw that Lin Ting finally smiled, the stone in his heart finally came to his mind. She held Lin Ting's hand and comforted him with earnest words. Even if the sky falls, don't we still have Mom and Qin Yan to hold it up? Just hide behind us, Mom and Qin Yan will definitely protect you. Thank you, Mom. Lin Ting had tears in his eyes and was so moved by Jiang Zhaolin's words that he wanted to cry. Silly child, what does a family say to thank you? After Jiang Zhaolin sent Lin Ting back to his room, he immediately called Qin Yan. You should call your wife and ask her if she's been bullied at work. She came back before she even got off work and she's in a very depressed mood. I see. Qin Yan hung up the phone and immediately called Wang Ku, the general manager of Ronald Ceramics. Qi. President Qi. The first time Wang Ku received a call from Qin Yan, he was so scared that his voice trembled. Qin Yan didn't waste time talking to him and went straight to the point. There is a designer named Lin Ting in your company. What happened to her in the company today? Lin Ting. Wang Ku really had no impression of him. Ronald Ceramics had many employees like Lin Ting who did not have management positions. As the general manager, it was impossible for him to know every employee. I'll ask someone to check it out right away. Please wait a moment, Mr. Qi. Wang Ku immediately rang the office call bell, and the secretary pushed the door open and came in. Mr. Wang. Go check if there is a designer named Lin Ting in our company, and tell me everything that happened to her in the company today. Yes, Mr. Wang. While waiting for the secretary to come back for more than 10 minutes, Wang Ku paced back and forth in the office anxiously. He went over all the bad things he had done in the first half of his life in his mind, but still couldn't figure out how he had offended Qin Yan. No one goes to the temple unless he has something to do. Did Qin Yan call just to ask about a small employee? And from his tone, he seemed to be in a bad mood and was suppressing his anger. Could it be that Lin Ting had offended him? Wang Ku felt like he was in a hurry. Boss Wang, I found out that someone posted a large-scale photo of Lin Ting in the company group last night. This morning, the HR manager tried to persuade her to quit, but Lin Ting disagreed. The final decision was to suspend her from work for a week without pay. If Lin Ting cannot prove her innocence after a week, she will automatically resign. Wang Ku told Qin Yan everything that happened to Lin Ting in the company. Boss Qi, are you dissatisfied with the way Lin Ting was handled? Otherwise, I will notify the Human Resources Department right now and directly fire an employee like Lin Ting who is immoral. Immoral. Wang Ku was so frightened by Qin Yan's low question that his hair stood on end and his whole body went numb. He trembled and hurriedly changed his words. I expressed it incorrectly. Mr. Qi, please tell me what you want me to do. Check who sent that photo to the group. Yes, Mr. Qi. Wang Ku hung up the phone and quickly notified his secretary to check. Even after hanging up the phone, his hands were still shaking with nervousness. Could it be that he guessed wrong? This Qin Yan looked more like someone who came to call for punishment. Could it be that this Lin Ting was his lover? The secretary came back soon. The person who posted the photo is Jiang Mingyue's fake account. He is an intern at the company and has just been employed for 3 months. Wang Ku told Qinyan all the known clues. Boss Qi, how about I notify the HR department right now and let Lin Ting return to work? The phone fell into silence. Every minute and every second waiting for Qinyan's reply seemed like a year to Wang Ku. In this Jiangcheng, offending Qinyan is tantamount to seeking death. Not for now. Qinyan hung up the phone after he finished speaking. It seemed that he was still too slow to act last night. He thought of the news about the female blogger who jumped to her death because she could not bear the online exposure. I feel a little uneasy. He also had a very important signing ceremony to attend and couldn't leave for the time being, so he called Jiang Zhaolin first. Mom, Lin Ting has been slandered and defamed online. She may be in a bad mood recently. Find a reason to take her out for a walk. Don't let her stay alone in the room. Okay, just focus on your work. I'll keep an eye on Lin Ting and prevent her from having any unplanned thoughts. Jiang Zhaolin knocked on Lin Ting's bedroom door. Lin Ting, do you have anything to do this afternoon? Fine. Then you can go shopping with Mom this afternoon. You finally get some rest. We, mother and daughter, have never gone shopping alone. Lin Ting was waiting for news from his senior. The Black Fan's account had been unblocked, and she was a little worried that he would post something else online. The company only gave her a week to prove her innocence. She was so anxious that she didn't know where to start. She decided to go out for a walk to relax. Okay, Mom, wait for me, I'll change my clothes and go with you. The two arrived at the mall. Lin Ting earned 150,000 yuan from her last live broadcast, and she planned to buy a gift for Jiang Zhaolin. She remembered the jade necklace that Jiang Zhaolin gave her last time. She thought that she must like jade, so she took Jiang Zhaolin's arm and walked straight into a jewelry store. Jiang Zhaolin looked up and glanced at the name of the store. Yutsue Villa. Isn't this her own shop? Lin Ting walked to the counter and pointed at the jade necklace in the cabinet. Please let me see this jade necklace. Jiang Zhaolin was a little confused. Did she not like the jadeite necklace she gave to Lin Ting? So she wanted to buy a new one? Maybe that style is not popular among young people. Well, it's her own shop anyway, she can buy her whatever she likes. Would you like to buy an emerald necklace? Lin Ting nodded slightly, took the jade necklace from the salesperson, held it in his hand and looked at it. The color was clear and translucent. She didn't know much about jade, but she thought it looked nice and felt good to the touch. If she bought it from a national chain store like this, it definitely wouldn't be a fake. Mom, try it on and see if you like it. Lin Ting handed it to Jiang Zhaolin. Chapter 24, winning the first prize. You want to buy it for me? Jiang Zhaolin was a little flattered, and his eyes could not hide the joy and surprise. Well, last time you gave me a jadeite necklace, I really liked it, and I've been thinking about giving you a gift for a while. Today I happened to be out shopping and saw a jadeite store, so I'll take you in to choose something. Okay, I'll give it a try. The salesperson was wearing black gloves and took the jade necklace from Lin Ting's hand with a very good service attitude. Let me help you put it on. Jiang Zhaolin looked in the mirror and touched the jade necklace around his neck, liking it very much. Not because of its style or color, but because it was a gift from her daughter-in-law. This bead necklace has a pure color, no color roots, is evenly distributed with little cotton, and it matches your skin tone very well. Your daughter has really good taste, the salesperson praised. Jiang Zhaolin said proudly, of course not. Mom, I think it looks good on you too. You have fair skin, so jade is a good match for you. But the main thing is that you have to like it. Mom likes everything you give her. Then take this one. Wait a minute, how much is this necklace? Although she didn't intend to let Lin Ting pay a penny when they entered the store, she still had to go through the process to ask about the price. After all, her current status does not allow her to buy things without looking at the price. This jadeite necklace is a hot-selling item in our store. It has good water quality and color. It costs 23,800 yuan after discount. So expensive? Forget it, I won't buy it. She pretended to be surprised and pulled Lin Ting to leave. The show still had to go on. No, this is a gift from me. If you like it, it's not expensive. Please help me pack it up. The salesperson handed the item over and went inside to make the order. Miss, please pay this way. Mom, just look around. I'll pay the bill. Jiang Zhaolin nodded slightly. While Lin Ting was paying, she called the general manager of Yutsue Viller, gave him a brief explanation, and then hung up. The person in charge over there instantly felt like he was facing a great enemy. The chairman came to inspect the store in person, and he quickly sent a notice to the store, asking all employees to be on level 1 alert. Today's goal is to serve the chairman and the president's wife well. Lin Ting walked over with the necklace she had paid for. Jiang took the necklace gift box from Lin Ting's hand and took out his mobile phone. "I'll take a picture and send it to Qinyan to show off." Seeing how Jiang was reluctant to let it go, Lin Ting felt that the money was well spent. After Jiang finished taking the photos, Lin Ting pulled her away. "Mom, let's go." Jiang gave a look to the salesperson behind him, who instantly understood and immediately called out to Lin to listen. "Wait a moment." Lin Ting was a little confused. "What's wrong?" "I paid the bill." "Don't get me wrong, we are having an event at Yutsue Viller. Anyone who spends more than 20,000 yuan in the store can participate in a free lottery, and the highest prize is the first prize." Lin Ting looked at the lottery box that was handed over. She is very familiar with the marketing tactics of this kind of jewelry store. Generally, they give out 2,000 yuan vouchers. After you win the prize, the salesperson will recommend you jewelry priced at 2,000 plus yuan, and ask you to add a few hundred yuan to buy the jade, saying that you have saved 2,000 yuan and made a big profit. In fact, the market price of jewelry is usually only a few dozen yuan. This trick is specifically used to deceive middle-aged and elderly people like Jiang, and Lin Ting will not fall for it. "No." Lin Ting pulled Jiang away with an unhappy look on her face. She was still angry when she remembered what Qinyan said about Jiang being deceived by the tour guide and buying fake goods when he went on a trip. This story didn't go according to plan at all. But the task assigned by the superiors had to be completed, and the salesperson hurriedly blocked Lin Ting's way with the lottery box. "Please try drawing. What if you win the first prize?" "Yeah, just give it a try. There's nothing to lose anyway." Jiang also responded. Lin Ting folded her arms. She was going to uphold justice today, expose the marketing scams in the jewelry market that specifically deceived the elderly, and rectify the bad practices. "What is your first prize?" "A voucher." "If I win the voucher, will you recommend me to buy your jade for a few $100s more?" The salesperson hurriedly explained, "Our first prize is a free coupon. If you win the first prize, the necklace you bought will be given to you for free, and the money you paid will be returned to your account." Lin Ting smiled and watched them continue their performance. She really underestimated them. The tricks were still changing with the times, but the essence remained the same. They wanted her to pay more money. "So what's your first prize winning rate?" "The chance of winning their first prize is only 3 in 1,000 or 1 in 1,000. Lin Ting laughed. "With such a low chance of winning, how could I possibly win the first prize? If I really win the first prize, wouldn't I be possessed by a koi fish? I can go buy a lottery ticket." Lin Ting didn't want to waste any more time with them, so he took Jiang's hand and was about to leave. "Even if you don't win the first prize, you can still win other prizes. Our second prize is a gold bracelet, the third prize is a Yadi electric car, and even the participation prize includes a thermos cup." The salesperson shouted at Lin Ting's back. Jiang stopped and tugged at Lin Ting's arm. Her perfectly arranged plan couldn't be ruined. "Lin Ting, let's have a drink. Mom just happens to be in need of a thermos cup." When Lin heard Jiang's expectant look, he sighed and finally understood why she was deceived by the tour guide into buying fake jadeite. He is easily influenced by others and loves to take advantage of small opportunities. It is indeed a common problem among middle-aged and elderly people in our country. "Okay, I'll go and smoke." Lin Ting walked up to the salesperson, reached into the lottery box, took out a ball at random and handed it to the salesperson. She didn't have any hope at all and turned to leave. The salesperson shouted in surprise, "You won the first prize, a free coupon." Lin Ting paused, not believing his ears, and turned around to look at the salesperson in surprise. "What did you say?" "You are so lucky. You won a free coupon from our store. We will give you the jade necklace you bought for free. As for the amount you paid, we will return it to your account within 1 to 3 working days. Is this true or false?" Lin Ting took the note from the salesperson, and it did say first prize, a free coupon. What kind of luck did she have? Lin Ting, you are so lucky, aren't you? Jiangcheng shook her arms excitedly. Lin Ting felt his feet were light and unreal. Is she really possessed by a koi fish? You have to know that in the first 25 years, she never even won another bottle of iced tea. She was completely insulated from winning any prize. It's not an exaggeration to say that she had an unlucky physique. Lin Ting looked at the refund text message notification he had just received on his phone. Only then did I truly believe that I had won the first prize. Are you happy? Jiangcheng asked. Lin Ting nodded heavily. As long as you are happy. She stared at her phone and laughed from ear to ear. Mom, has my unlucky physique hit rock bottom and rebounded? Jiangcheng couldn't help but laugh. As the daughter-in-law of the Qi family, she will be completely insulated from bad luck in the future. Chapter 25. I know I love my husband. She echoed Lin Ting's words and said, from now on, you will have the physique of a koi fish. After winning the prize, Lin Ting temporarily put the things on the internet behind him. Because she was happy, she pulled Jiangcheng to buy her a few sets of clothes. After leaving the women's clothing store, her attention was attracted by a men's clothing store. Standing in front of the window, she looked at the black suit worn by the model. Both the cut and the stitching were extremely fine. She remembered the first time she saw Qin outside the Civil Affairs Bureau. He was wearing a black suit like this, very elegant, like a star. Mom, let's go into the men's clothing store. I think Qin will look very elegant in this suit. You want to buy him clothes? Lin Ting nodded. After the incident at Qin company, I rarely saw him wearing a suit. I want to buy him a better suit. He works in sales and often has to meet clients outside. He can't dress indecently. Jiangcheng was very pleased. It seemed that Lin Ting had learned to feel sorry for her husband. She seemed to see her grandchildren waving at her. Walking into the store, Lin Ting pointed directly at the suit on the model and said to the salesperson, "Can you give me this suit, please?" "Okay, what size do you want?" Lin then remembered that she didn't know what size Qin wore, so she asked Jiangcheng, "Mom, do you know what size clothes Qin usually wears?" For a family like theirs, clothes are all tailor-made for them. Every time the season changes, someone would come to their house to measure their bodies, but Jiangcheng had never noticed it. "I'm not sure either, why don't you ask Qin?" Lin Ting took out his cell phone and sent a message to Qin, "What size clothes do you wear?" Qin was negotiating a contract with his partner when his cell phone rang. He was afraid that something unexpected might have happened to Lin Ting, so he quickly took out his phone to check. He heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that Lin Ting was only asking him about his clothing size. XXL. You want to buy me clothes? Qin stared at the phone screen with a frown on his face. Just reply with a ha. Jiangqi noticed Qin's abnormality and approached him with a gossipy look on his face. Who sent you a message that was smiling and frowning at the same time? Qin rolled his eyes at him and turned off the screen of his phone. Mind your own business, is the contract ready? Jiangqi curled his lips and handed the contract revised by his secretary to Qin. It's obvious that it must be my sister-in-law. Otherwise, why wouldn't she even take a look at the message? How stingy. Qin ignored the complaints of Jiangqi, the single man, and concentrated on his work. Here, Lin Ting told the salesperson the code number Qin sent her. Please pack me an XXL size of this suit. Jiangcheng reminded quietly, aren't you going to ask the price? This store is not owned by the Qi group, so Jiangcheng cannot use the same trick again. This time he wants Lin Ting to pay for it with real money. She felt a little sorry for Lin Ting spending money. Mom, I brought enough money. Lin Ting smiled and said that she knew that the suits hanging in the shopping mall would not be cheap, but the most expensive clothes in this kind of store were no more than a few thousand yuan, which she could still afford. Hello, the total price after discount is 3,680 yuan. How can I pay? Although Lin Ting was mentally prepared, she still felt a little pain when she heard the price. After all, the clothes she bought for herself never cost more than 300 yuan. This was the first time she bought clothes worth thousands of dollars. However, Qin and Jiangcheng were so good to her, and it was worth spending money on them, so she didn't feel so bad thinking this way. After paying the money, Lin Ting carried the clothes and walked out of the mall with Jiangcheng. In the evening, after Qin finished the signing ceremony, he hurried home without even attending the celebration banquet. Jiangcheng looked at Qin, who looked so family-oriented, and tears of envy came to his eyes. The whole world is in love, but he is the only one who remains single. After dinner, Lin Ting gave the suit to Qin and asked him to try it on. Try it on and see if it fits. If it doesn't, you can take it back for a different size. Okay, I'll try. Qin took the clothes and went into the bathroom to change. The suit was not tailor-made, and the shoulders and waist did not fit him well. He was not used to wearing it, but he did not show it in front of Lin Ting. How is it? Does it look good? Qin asked. Lin Ting looked him up and down carefully and nodded slightly. This suit looks even better on you than on the model in the window. It's very elegant, just like the overbearing CEO in an idol drama. Qin felt proud when he was praised. Isn't it the president? A president who is more real than real gold. I can't believe you have such a great figure. Lin Ting stared at him intently and praised him generously. Qin was secretly delighted. She had not seen his figure after taking off his clothes. It was even better. How much is this suit? He had never heard of this brand of suits, so he didn't know the price and just asked casually. 36.80 after discount. 3,680. What is this dress made of? Can humans wear it? Qin was a little surprised. He touched the material of the clothes and found that it was indeed much worse than what he had worn before. Lin Ting thought it was too expensive, so he quickly explained, you don't have to think it's too expensive. Men still have to dress decently when they go out. At least they have to have a decent suit. Is clothing that costs 3,680 yuan very expensive? Qin couldn't understand it. In the past, he never wore clothes that cost less than 200,000 yuan, and even his tie cost at least 100,000 yuan. But seeing Lin Ting trying his best to persuade him not to feel stingy with the money, he was somewhat curious about the price of the clothes she was wearing. How much do the clothes you usually wear cost? I don't usually buy clothes in malls, I buy them online. Summer clothes are cheap, a skirt is only a few dozen yuan, while winter clothes are more expensive, maybe 200 or 300 yuan. Lin listened and spoke very frankly. She didn't think the clothes she bought were cheap. Isn't this what ordinary people's lives are like? Earning a salary of several thousand yuan, wearing clothes worth dozens of yuan, eating fast food worth more than 10 yuan, and drinking Jiangcheng drinks worth a few yuan. Qin looked at Lin Ting's calmness, without any inferiority on her face. Maybe in her opinion, clothes should be priced like this. He couldn't describe the feeling in his heart. She wore clothes that cost only a few dozen dollars, but she was willing to buy him a suit that cost thousands of dollars. He felt unworthy of it. At this moment, Qin looked at the suit again. The material didn't seem so bad, and it didn't fit him so ill-fitting anymore. How's the matter with the photo going? Lin Ting's eyes immediately dimmed. He pursed his lips and shook his head, looking dejected. I don't have any friends who are good at photo processing, so I don't know how to prove that the photo was photoshopped. There's no news from my senior yet. I know a little bit about image processing. If you want to prove that the photo was photoshopped, you need to find 2 original photos before the Photoshop. I have found one for you at the company today. You also need another original photo of you before the Photoshop. My original photo. Lin Ting was a little confused.